All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's Throwback Thursday, and we have a special edition of our Watch Along Throwback Thursday live stream tonight as we're going to be watching a NASCAR race at Riverside. In fact, it is the final race that the NASCAR Cup Series ever ran at the Riverside Speedway, Raceway. I don't know exactly what it was called. It is a road course, though. For the 1988 Budweiser 400. This is also the oldest race that we will watch on the channel to date. The oldest race that we watched on the channel actually up to this point was last week's live commentary stream, or not even live commentary. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm butchering this intro. But last week's Throwback Thursday live stream, we ended up watching the 1992 Hooters 500, of course, at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. So, back-to-back races here from the late 80s, early 90s on the channel, so hopefully you guys enjoy. Definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Throwback Thursday live streams every Thursday. We watch an old NASCAR race for wherever they're going to that specific week. Because NASCAR is at COTA this week, they've only had 2 races there. I have to backtrack at least 7 years to be able to run these live streams without them getting taken down due to copyright, so that is why we went with some older racetracks in the poll this week. Went with a bunch of tracks that are no longer on the NASCAR schedule, mostly on the road course side of things, just because we do have a road course coming up this weekend, so that's what left us with Riverside. So I can't wait to see what this race is going to be hold. I definitely have not watched this race. This will actually be the first ever race I think I have watched flag to flag from Riverside. So yeah, always heard it was a fun road course. They ended up going to Sonoma, I think, right after this. Was kind of the second road course state for NASCAR. They were going to Watkins Glen at this time as well, and obviously still to this day are at Watkins Glen and Sonoma. But yeah, California, Riverside Speedway. Let's get this race underway. Make sure the audio is going to be good.
There's a lap around.
And this is an ESPN classic for whatever reason. This is the only feed I can catch of the race, so hopefully it's not highlights. And it's
There's an elevation change from the start-finish line out to about turn 7 or
2.62-mile
8,
road
where we
course,
have 100
International
feet.
Raceway.
The race length 95 laps. That's 400
95
kilometers,
laps,
and the fuel range
30
between
to
30 and
35, so we'll have
35
to remember
laps.
that, because
And
obviously
so the field now
that will come into play. 30 to 35 laps,
race course on a couple
95
of
laps
pace
total in
laps
the race.
before we
It's going to
get
be borderline
the green
2
flag
stopper
for
then.
400 kilometers
Could be a fuel
racing.
mileage
And
race.
here now is the starting lineup for today's Budweiser 400 on the pole with a
Ricky
new
Rudd
track
on the
record of
pole. Look how young he looks.
118.484 miles an
Young
hour.
Ricky.
The Quaker State Buick driven by Ricky
Quaker
Rudd.
State paints me
On the
also.
outside of that front row will be Rusty Wallace in the number 27 Kodiak Pontiac.
Rusty looks different back
In the second row, it'll be Terry
All these
Labonte
drivers-
from Thomasville, North Carolina.
I'm used
in the
to seeing
number
them,
11
like, when they were
Budweiser
towards
Banquet Baby
retirement.
Ruth
I
Chevrolet.
was watching
Outside of row
NASCAR.
number 2 is Neil Bonnet in the 75 Valvoline Plastic Coat Pontiac. Row number 3 has
Wow,
Petty in
Kyle
car number
Petty.
21.
Look at
The
that. I didn't even know Kyle Petty looked like that at one point in time. I don't think I've ever seen him with glasses.
Thunderbird. Outside
Honestly,
of row number 3,
not
it's
like
Dale
that.
Earnhardt
Well,
in the
okay, he wears
GM
glasses
Goodrich
now, but
Chevrolet, car number 3.
not in his racing
Fourth
career,
row,
at least.
Darrell Waltrip in the number 17 Tide Exxon AC Chevrolet. Outside of row number 4, the number
I guess he
9
probably always
Coors
wore glasses. I
Motorcraft
don't know
4
what
driven
I'm talking
by
about
Bill
anymore.
Elliott.
Red
In the
Wings
fifth
lost to the
row,
Sharks,
Dave
so that
Marcus in
sucks.
car number 71, the Lifebuoy Soap Chevrolet. And then Sterling Marlin in the Piedmont Underalls Oldsmobile car number 44. Row number 6, it's the Folgers Exxon AC Chevrolet driven by Ken Schrader, car number 25. And then this Gold Bandit Chevrolet, which will be handled once again this week by Morgan Shepherd from Conover, North Carolina, car number 33.
Well, there's one driver that's starting way back in 30th position, and that's
Billy
Benny
Kramer,
Parsons,
Kenneth Clark,
who
Emery
has to
Holly,
feel
thanks
that
for
he's
tuning
got a
in.
shot at winning this thing. Now, Benny is the former winner here at Riverside, always runs well here, but you figure someone starting back in 30th position
I
might
have
not
no
have
clue
a good
exactly
shot
what
at
this
it.
entire
But
track looks
Benny,
like. To be completely
two
honest.
race
Like I said,
tracks
I've
that are
never
no longer
watched a
on the
race
circuit,
at
the Texas
Riverside.
World Speedway and Ontario.
So I have no
Benny
clue what
Parsons
happens
won
in this
the
race.
last race that was run at those two
I
places.
think
So
I
if
remember
history
who
and
finished
tradition
first
have
and
anything to do
second. I
with it,
can't
Benny
remember the
Parsons
order,
could very
though.
well be the winner
No,
here
no,
at
I know who
Riverside
won.
this
Okay.
afternoon.
I'm pretty sure I know
We've
who
been
won this
informed
race
that the
now
number
that I think about it.
76 car, driven by Tom Kendall, will
I think
go
I've
to the
seen the
back of the
finish of
pack
this race
for the
before, but
start
that's about
because
it.
he missed the drivers' meeting. There was a Corvette Challenge
Now, I don't
race
know
here
if they
early this
knew if
morning
this
that,
was the last
Tom
race at
Kendall
Riverside or
competed
not,
in, and apparently
going
there
into
wasn't
it,
enough time between the end of that race and the
You'll have to
drivers'
let me know
meeting,
down
so
in
he
the
missed the
chat
meeting, and he's been been put back
It
to
was
the back
well
of the field. By the
documented
way,
whether it was
that
supposed to
Corvette
be
Challenge race earlier today was won by Juan Manuel Fangio III in a very, very good contest. Now the field comes off of corner number 9, and we are just about set
there's
to go
only
racing
9
for
turns, that's
400
it.
kilometers. The Budweiser 400, the final race at Riverside International.
2.62 miles.
Cup cars, and the green flag
Only 9
is
turns.
out.
Quick little kink.
The field moves through turn number 1. A short shoot now, moving to
Yeah, look
turn
how
number
narrow the
2.
track is. It
And
kind
now
of reminds
they
me of
begin to
Middle.
go through
Actually, it's
the
even
famous
more
S's here
narrow.
at
Wow.
Riverside International. It's
It was
kind of
really
an
wide,
uphill
got
struggle
very
through the
narrow at
S's
first.
as they
Look how tight this
negotiate
S is.
the track from left to right, back to left, back
There
to
couldn't
right,
have been a
then
lot of
come
passing,
uphill
because
to corner number
this
6.
looks like it's a very, very narrow racetrack. It kind of, like I said, it reminds me of Mid-Ohio just a little bit, but even Mid-Ohio being there in person looks wider than this. Now, I've never
turn
been
number 6
here in
to
person,
actually
obviously, it's
turn
not even
number
around
8
it.
because they missed turn number 7. The course is shortened for the Winston Cup cars, and so there is no real turn number 7.
There's definitely some wide
Through
areas
turn
on the
number
track
8
to
now,
make
and down
passes.
the very long backstretch. Of course, the fastest part of this racetrack. That's Ricky Rudd.
Google it, I
showing
don't
the
feel
way.
like it.
Rusty Wallace running in second position.
I wanna pause
And
it just
Neil
to
Bonnet is third as they come down the backstretch and set their cars up for corner number 9.
And
which
this is
a
a whole
big
day,
sweeping turn.
1988.
And Ricky Rudd setting the car into turn number 9 right now. And the first
Rick,
lap
thanks
is
for
about to
tuning
be
in.
completed in the race as Ricky Rudd will be showing the way off of corner number
Oh,
9
Junior,
and onto the
let's keep
main straightaway. Neil Bonnet is running third. Running in fourth position is Dale Earnhardt.
Oh, yeah,
Fifth
Smith
spot
TV
is
once
Terry
again.
Labonte. Sixth is Kyle Petty. Seventh, Bill Elliott. Eighth is Darrell Waltrip.
I'll be sure to
Ninth
put
is
in the
Dave
description
Marcus. And
after this
10th is Sterling
I
Martin as we go
apologize.
inside the Rick Henry car.
You can see that he's holding his position very well as they head into the S's. He's doing a great job here in the early going.
I gotta try to learn this racetrack on the fly, because
What a
honestly,
support race that was held here yesterday
mentioned
at the
already.
racetrack,
Oh,
as
yeah.
we already have a penalty assessed to the 04 car driven by Herschel McGriff. He was
What Herschel?
apparently brought into the pits as a result of a black flag for jumping the start. So the old
What?
veteran Herschel McGriff has got some making up to do.
And
How did
was
he
the
jump
grand
the start?
marshal for
What?
this race. A very
I mean, he
fitting
must have
honor
passed,
for
like, a
fellow
bunch of
who
cars,
has
I
won
guess.
more
I
races
don't
here
know.
at Riverside than any other driver.
curious
Too
as to how
bad
he
that he's got
jumped
so
the start. I
many
think he would have been
Now we
starting
go
at
back
the
and
rear of the
check
field
on the
anyway.
those running up front. That's Ricky Rudd still
Definitely
showing
wasn't
the way.
starting towards
Rusty
you one.
Wallace second, and then Neil Bonnet, who himself is still feeling some of the effects from a crash
Two-man booth,
at
I
Charlotte last month, but has qualified well
Benny
for this
Parsons
race
and,
runs in third spot.
Bob
Earnhardt right
Jenkins.
behind him. Then comes Labonte. That's Kyle Petty, Bill Elliott, and the others trailing behind.
Here we see Richard Petty's car coming into focus there, right there, making the left turn, the blue and red car. Richard crashed in qualifying on Friday here, had to go get a backup car. That's a 1987 model Pontiac, but he came back and qualified yesterday and running very well with it.
As a matter of fact,
That's
Richard
crazy,
Petty was
though,
one
that
of the
backup
regular
car back in
Winston Cup
1988, they just used a
during
car
the
from the year
qualifying
before.
session. The other was Michael Waltrip.
And even
They had to
older
get a
car.
show car off the display floor and bring it to the racetrack and qualify it. And Michael Waltrip started this race from the 40th position. There you can see some of the action in the pack.
Could you imagine if they had to do that last season?
Single file formation up through the S's once
They
again.
had to race
Here
a Gen
comes the
6
leaders.
car with the next gen
Turn
cars
number
because they
6,
wrecked their
Ricky
gen.
Rudd in the
The
quicker
next
Steve
gen
Buick,
car,
still
they
pursued
didn't have any
by
more cars
Rusty
for the
Wallace,
weekend.
and now a challenge settling up there for third position. As
For a
Dale
short
Earnhardt
time, we were
appeared to be in
wondering
the
if
spot to,
there was gonna
possibly
be a
take over that third position from
issue with teams being
Neil
short on
Bonnet,
cars
and
over
indeed
the
he has.
years,
So
too.
Dale Earnhardt moves to third now. Dale is fighting to stay atop the Winston Cup points race.
All right, so Dale
This
Sr.'s
race
the
is
points
very
leader
tight.
coming
As a
in.
matter of fact, it's the tightest it's ever been at this portion of the season. Earnhardt has just a very slight advantage over Rusty Wallace.
Now, I'm not sure
He
what
has never
race
won
this is on the
road
season
course.
as
He'd
well.
like
I
to
don't know
change
how
that,
many
and
they have
certainly
left
before
after
this
this.
racetrack goes away, he would like for it to be in Riverside, California. Look how he
I don't think
that
Dale
white
ever won on a
line
road
right
course,
down
did he?
the white line as he goes into turn 9.
We'll see a lot of
You'll have
dust
to
kicked
correct
up
me if
during
I'm
the
wrong.
afternoon here, and most of it will just be for the right side or the left side of the car.
He's in
getting
third
off the
in the
racetrack
early, right?
slightly and kicking up some of the dust. But as you indicated, Ned, when they do that, they kick some dust and sand and gravel.
I just
up
can't
onto
get
the
over how
track, and
narrow
that
the
could
track is
result
once you
in
head
some
into
cut
turn
tires.
2.
Ricky Rudd leads the Budweiser 400 in the early going with Rusty Wallace running
They had a
second.
clean
And we'll
start.
be right back after this. PN Speed World today at Riverside International Raceway is
It's
the
nice that
permanent
this
countdown
fast
on
forwards to the
Winston Cup
commercials.
racing here at the this
Had to try to
facility.
skip it myself last
Ricky
week.
Rudd, the pole sitter, is the leader, followed by
the only time I really had to
Rusty
do that, though.
Dale Earnhardt is running in third position, and the number 4 car, driven by Rick Wilson, appears to have a problem as he's going behind the wall.
Yes, that
What happened there?
was running very well out there. Didn't know whether he'd be able to finish the race as a result of an injury that he got at Charlotte a couple of weeks ago. He had to have relief
let me
last
get
week
that
at
set
Dover
for you
Delaware.
guys real quick. I didn't realize it was that far off. I don't think you guys are really missing much of it, but I'll still fix it.
But now going behind the wall, it looks terminable.
He had Jimmy Inslow standing by as a relief driver, and it
Whoa,
appears
what
as if
happened
the
there?
car is not running.
Eureka!
And now the number 52 car, driven by Jimmy Means, has gotten off track
Jimmy
and
Means.
has stopped apparently somewhere up there in the S's. So
Jimmy!
a couple of cars dropped from competition here in the very early going, and on pit road in front of us as we watch
doesn't
Jimmy
look like
Means,
a
the
Jimmy,
63 car, driven by Giacomo Giacomo, is in the pit area.
Here's a good battle between Darrell Waltrip in the car number 17.
We have a car sitting in the grass.
Right in front of them
We're
is
still
Kyle
green.
Petty in car number 21, and right behind Bill Elliott is Dave Marcus, who is having a great run here in the car number 71, the Lifebuoy Soap car. Marcus perhaps has the best pit crew chief here, Bob,
Yeah,
that
Rusty
he has
in the
ever
27.
had. Ivan Baldwin, who's a past winner here at Riverside, California, is now his crew chief.
A
And
little bit of a
certainly
probe, though.
knows
Yeah,
how to
and you
set
can
race
see
cars to
Jimmy
get
Means
around this
sitting in the
racetrack.
grass off to the
That's
side.
to
I just
the
saw him
advantage
sitting
of
there
Dave
as the cars were whizzing by in the
Petty in the
S's.
number 21 car is running 6th. Behind him, the 17 of Darrell Waltrip, then Bill Elliott, Dave Marcus, and the
Seems like a lot of the
44 car
corners
driven
on
by
this
Sterling
track
Marlin.
are
6,
similar.
7, 8, 9, and 10 right here. We talked of the tire situation going into this race. Only 2 drivers began the competition this afternoon on the Hoosiers, namely Jeff Bodine in car number 5 and Tom Kendall in number 76. Still watching Kyle Petty being pursued by Darrell Waltrip, and then here comes
$2
Bill
super
Elliott,
chat from
Dave
JC
Marcus, and Sterling Marlin.
Thanks for tuning in. I already said
Caution
thanks
on the
for,
racetrack.
thanks for the $2 super
It'll be
chat.
a full
You can't tell, I'm a little
caution
tired
because
today.
it's being given at the start-finish
Been a
line,
long
and Ricky
week
Rudd
for
comes into turn
mentally.
9 now. It'll be interesting to see if they come into the pits.
It's coming to a blow tonight,
And
I
it looks
think.
like Rudd is slowing down. Rusty Wallace is not. He wants to lead a lap and get 5.
Yeah, it caught my
bonus
attention.
points.
And here comes Rudd through that chicane.
That's
that
an
Dick
early
Herbert
pit stop
talked
for
about in
Ricky
the
Rudd.
opening of our show. Chicane put there in an effort to slow the cars down. There is very little room on pit road for
Yeah,
these
Jack.
43 cars. But here is
Old
Ricky
school
Rudd now
Jack.
getting a change of tires on the left side of the car.
I want to know what lap they're on.
Number
I-
75 of Neil Bonnet is
They're pitting
also
so
on
early
pit
for
road
tires?
right behind Ricky Rudd, and several others also come in.
They must be
including
splitting this
Rick
on a
Hendrick,
three-stop
Ken
stage
Schrader,
then. Or
Morgan
stage.
Shepherd is in.
Three-stop
so is
race.
Jeff Bodine, Sterling Marlin, Bill Elliott, Lake Speed, and others servicing
Curious
on
to
pit
see what
road.
this
Now they're
weekend's race
changing
looks
from
like
on the right side of the car.
with
Ricky Rudd, the
no stage
cemetery
breaks,
bunch.
but they're still having the stage points awarded. Wonder if it'll be similar to the same, or drivers will try to give up stage points still, or maybe they're going to try to run it out as far as they can. If they can do that, will turn into a potential fuel buy. We haven't seen a race at Coda without any stages. Not like a Watkins Glen or Sonoma where
Cars
you
begin to
kind of
move
somewhat
back out
predict what
onto
the
the
strategy will
racetrack.
be
There
like.
is Rusty Wallace, who's the leader, but he did not come in for a pit stop.
Wait,
And
what's the
he's
caution
right
for,
behind the
Jimmy
pace
Means?
car here in our first caution of the afternoon. Last week, of course, we saw a mandatory yellow thrown by NASCAR at the end of 25 laps for the drivers to come in to check their tire wear, but that was not the case here this afternoon. Wallace is in the lead. Dale Earnhardt
What's the
running in
caution,
second
then?
position as 6 laps out of 95 have been completed in the
By the way,
Budweiser
Rusty
400.
Wallace's roof,
Starting out to
I think
test your
the
knowledge
numbers
of NASCAR
inverted, kind of
history
like
with
Bubba
this
Wallace's
classic trivia
was
question.
that one
Which
race
driver
last
won the
year.
most
What was it,
Winston Cup
Michigan?
races at Riverside International Raceway? Was it Richard Petty?
Which driver won
Bobby
the most?
Allison,
This is
Darrell
our trivia
Waltrip,
question
or
tonight,
Dan
ladies and
Gurney?
gents.
We'll give you some time to think about the answer. In the meantime, let's return to the Riverside finale with the 1988 Budweiser
I didn't see all the
400
choices, I'm not gonna
right
lie.
here on ESPN Classic.
I do think the roof number is
Field moving
inverted,
up
though,
through the
for
S's
Rusty.
under caution. We are cautioned to get Jimmy Means' stall car from the racetrack,
Yeah,
but that
so
has
they
been
threw the caution to
accomplished,
get
and
Jimmy
now we'll go
Means'
back
car
to
off the
racing
track. He
in
was
just a
literally
few
sitting
moments.
there
The lights
before
on
the
pace
commercial
car
break.
are out, and we're
He was sitting there for like, I don't know, probably 5, 6, 7, 8 laps, somewhere between there.
Dale Earnhardt runs in
Somewhere
second
between
spot.
5 and 8 laps, and then they decide to throw the
Fourth is
caution.
Kyle Petty. Fifth is Dave Marcus. And
That's
in
probably
sixth
why so many
position
drivers
is
were pitting.
Chad Little, followed by Rick
They probably
Hendrick,
figured,
who
oh,
is,
they're going to throw a caution out
doing
for
a fine
Jimmy,
job
so
out there.
let's just
Now,
pay
he has
now.
also talked about getting
Might
out
as
of
well.
that car and turning it over to Elliott
Kinda
Forbes
gaming the
Robinson.
system,
But the latest word we had
NASCAR
from
gets
the pit
back to
area is
yellow,
if he
right?
feels comfortable out there and is having a good
What is
time,
going on
he's going to
here?
stay out there in competition.
They are
So we'll watch
blowing
to see if
past
Rick
the
Hendrick
pace
does
car
stay
at
out
full
there or
speed.
if
I've
he
never
turns
seen
around
anything like this
to
before.
Elliott Forbes
Can you
Robinson.
believe? I can't believe what I just saw there. Hang on, I gotta watch that again.
That's Kyle Petty.
The pace car wasn't even on pit road yet, and they were allowed to get to the restart? I didn't know this was a
Followed by
thing.
Rick Hendrick,
Look how
who is,
dainty. Oh my
doing a
gosh.
fine job out
Can't even
there. Now,
talk.
he has also talked about getting
pace
out
car
of
driver
that
had to be
car
shitting
and
bricks
turning
at
it
this
over
time.
to Elliott Forbes Robinson. But the latest word we
Where's
had
he
from
at?
the pit area
There he
is
is.
if he feels
It's
comfortable
like, yeah, I'm
out
just
there,
gonna
he's having
hold
a
up
good
right
time,
here. You
he's
guys
gonna
go right
stay
ahead.
out there in competition. So we'll watch to
Look
see
how
if Rick
close
Hendrick
they
does
get
stay
to him.
out
They were
there
side
or
by
he turns
side right
around
there.
to Elliott Forbes Robinson. On
Oh
the
my
restart now,
gosh.
as the green flag flies down the backstretch. That's Kyle Petty going
They
to
are
the
absolutely
inside,
hauling
trying
him
to
in.
pick
Where's
up
he gonna
pole
get off
position.
at? That's what I want to know.
And he does move around well.
Where
He
those
did for
cones
one
are,
minute around
probably?
Dave Marcus, but
Oh my
Marcus
gosh.
is going to beat him into turn 9.
This is unquestionably the area of the track that we see the most competition
Okay,
in.
Vance
Now we
was
go inside Rick
68.
Hendrick's
Thanks
car
for
and
tuning
watch
in.
this battle. It's just up ahead of him. Chad Little's
believe what
car
I
is
just
right
saw.
there ahead, and so is Kyle Petty and Dave Marcus as they cross the start-finish line and head into turn
Oh,
number
no,
one. And
Morgan
Marcus
Shepherd's got a
in
problem.
The 33 car is having problems. We see some smoke coming from the rear end
Immediately
of that
after
race
the
car.
restart,
Tough
too.
break for Morgan, who had a
Oh,
tremendous
Dale's
run
going for the lead on
last
Rusty.
week at Dover, and now we're beginning
Man,
to
look
see
at
the
Rusty
battle shape up
sliding
for the
around.
lead. See how the cars
Everybody,
get
really.
off the course just slightly as they go up
amazing
through the
watching the
S's.
cars slide
That's
around in
Dale
that corner.
Earnhardt putting some heat on Rusty Wallace, the leader of the
Whether
race.
they hit the curb or not.
Terry
Sebastian
Labonte
Moore,
is right
thanks
there
for tuning
also
in.
Car number 11. The cars come out of corner number 6.
Yeah, I was just kind of talking about that. I honestly don't know how it'll play out this weekend. Because I don't know exactly what the fuel mileage
Like
is.
to take the lead and get those 5 bonus points back that Rusty Wallace picked up when he
In
went
these cars,
into
'cause
the
we
lead.
never really had to
Earnhardt
push
has
the
not led
issue.
the last 2 Winston
Just
Cup
kinda
races, and that's very
pit
rare
before the end of the
for him. In
stages,
fact, I think there were
before
only 3
or
4
during the
races last year
stages,
that he
and
didn't
then-
lead at one point or another.
which were only 15 laps. So you know you can go that far. And then you split the last stage in half, so I really have no clue
First and second.
exactly
Rusty
what the fuel
Wallace is the
mileage is.
leader of the race in second position in the point standings. And on the other hand, Dale Earnhardt, who is second in the race right now, is the leader in Winston Cup points as they come through corner number 9 once again.
Corvette pace car driver had an
And
accident
Rusty's
with his
car
pants.
going
I mean, if I were him, I would
competition
have.
here as Jeff Bodine in
Just
the
seeing
number
everybody.
5
I mean,
car.
every single restart, he probably
Number
prays that
30
there's
and
no
Bobby
cautions in
Allison
this
in
race,
car
knowing
number
that he
12
has to
having a
just
battle out
hope
there.
that nobody runs right into the back of him
Of course,
at
those
full
cars have made
speed.
pit stops and are coming back up through the pack. Bobby Allison was very strong yesterday in practice here.
Yeah, they are
He
really
started
fast,
back
too.
in the 23rd
I mean, they're probably full
position.
throttle.
That is not indicative of the way that his car has been running here. Of course, Bobby Allison has won a lot of races on this road course and would like to be the winner of the last race here.
Big closing rate. Oh, somebody got off. Oh, you can't even see. You can't even see going through there.
To see the 3 abreast racing through the S's as the visibility was reduced
Yeah,
dramatically.
good luck.
However, it looks like
Good
everybody
luck,
came
ladies
out
and
okay.
gentlemen. Look at that. I mean, they're not going to be able to see for a while. And the more people that cut through the grass, too, because they can't see where the track's at, the worse and worse the visibility is going to get in that
Coast
corner.
for several weeks, and boy, that dust.
They must have raced here about the same time of the year they race at Sonoma now, considering the
Some
fact
smoke
that
coming from
it's
the
very
number
dry.
1 car, which is
Just like
driven by
Sonoma is.
Jim Bound from Portland, Oregon, one of the Winston
man.
West competitors, and yeah, there's a
Big
tremendous
smoke.
amount of smoke coming from that car. So Jim Bound could very well be coming into the pits. 9
Jim Brown, the
drivers
football
in today's
player?
race have Winston Cup wins
Cleveland
here at
Browns?
Riverside, and we were talking a little bit about Bobby Allison just
Alumni?
a couple of minutes ago. As a matter of fact, Bobby Allison has the most wins, 6. And there is Ricky Rudd, threading his way through traffic and trying to move up through the field. He made a pit stop when we had the first caution, and now he's
Ricky's
trying to move
definitely making
back,
some
and he has
passes.
moved
He
from
was a great road
22nd
course.
up to number 12.
An unscheduled pit stop for Kyle Petty in the Wood Brothers Sitco Ford. Apparently,
It
he
is
has
weird
run
seeing
over
Kyle
something
Petty in
and
the
cut
Wood
a
Brothers.
tire.
Oh
They're
my
changing
gosh,
the right
what
side
happened
out, and
here?
here is a lot of smoke someone apparently got off of the track or maybe spun out. So much dust,
You
we
can't even
see
see.
the cars there.
It'll be a while, yeah. We
Like,
do
what
see
happened?
a car
Who
down
is it?
in there, but which one it is, it's impossible
Dust is settling.
to see
You can
right
see a
now
car.
as
You
the
still
yellow
can't tell
flag
exactly
does
who
come
it
out.
is.
Now,
Oh, there's
matter
two
of fact,
cars.
there's more than one car. Bobby
I didn't even know there was
Jr.
two
is
cars.
one
Oh,
of
it's
those.
Bill.
Off course.
Bill Elliott's one of them.
And still, could it be Davey
It
Allison?
looked like Davey Allison's car.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
Both cars now get back on the racetrack, but we are yellow once again on lap number 12.
Well, somewhat of a break for Kyle Petty as we see what we can, if we can see what did happen as they came up through the S's. Kyle had just made a pit stop, so he got that. He'll stay in the lead lap. And here is.
There you can
Well,
see.
they were already spinning.
I wonder if they stopped racing here
because
because of the visibility. I mean, obviously, you would have to
It happened
imagine
just
it's the
ahead of
time of
Ricky
year
Rudd
that they're at
we
the
were
track.
following, and there you can see the damage on the left front of that car of Davey
Something for
Allison,
Davey.
who has
Davey
not
Allison,
had a
Bill
particularly
Elliott.
good weekend here. Not
Bring
a
out the
very
caution.
impressive qualifying.
Oh, that
effort.
doesn't look fixable
He
either.
started back in 34th position.
That
Now
right
we
front
have
suspension
Dale
was
Earnhardt
absolutely
moving on pit
demolished
road.
on Davey's
Dave
car.
Marcus, Rusty Wallace, Terry Labonte, also Chad Little is in, and several
Oh,
others.
Jim,
Now,
my
Dale
bad.
Earnhardt's,
I read that wrong.
pit is located at the very
mention
end
of
of pit
tire.
road. There is nobody ahead of him. The car of Rusty Wallace, number 27, is 2 back from Dale Earnhardt. As you can see, the Larry Dodson crew going to work on that car, and let's go to the pit area for a report.
And a donut mark on the right side of the 27.
Changing tires on the Kodiak Pontiac and Rusty Wallace. They've already changed
Yeah,
left side
get a look
tires.
at the roof
Now they'll
number
put
if you
fresh right
can.
side
I think
just
it's
the rubber on the
inverted.
car. They did
It's
not
only
put
his
the
car,
rubber
too, because I
first.
noticed
Marcus
Dale's
back
wasn't like that when he was right behind
Into
him.
the pits. They will back up and go around the Chad Little car. Earnhardt's car already has exited pit road.
Earnhardt is away.
crazy how
and now
different looking
Rusty
each car
Wallace
is,
moves
too.
away, as do several of the others who have come in for this stop on our second
Like,
caution
even now at the
period
next
of the
gen car,
afternoon. Pit
they
road,
all
as a
pretty
matter
much
of
look
fact, there's
symmetrical for the most part,
very
except
little
for the
up on
nose.
that car, so something other than just a routine pit stop for the Elliott crew.
Oh my gosh, somebody's
Another
off during
car, this
caution.
one, of course, this under yellow, that's a 73 of Bill Schmidt, a Winston West competitor.
He was probably just driving along and hit that dust cloud and couldn't see anything.
It could be that there was oil on the track up there that caused
I mean, it's possible
those
there's
cars to spin.
That's
As we
fair
see
point
Bill
from
Elliott's
Ben
car in
Parsons.
the pits now with the hood up.
Might not have been
His
the,
brother, who is
dust.
the engine builder.
The guy's
working
spinning out under
underneath there,
caution.
making some sort of adjustments, or it looks like they might be taking or
I think that was the same
wiring
corner
something
that Bill
up.
Elliott and Davey Allison wrecked in.
Well, we did see that similar situation with oil on the track in the S's yesterday during the International Race of Champions. Roberto Guerrero crashed after Dale Earnhardt had blown an engine and spun in the S's, and also Chris Cord
I didn't realize
spun
that
in the
IROC
oil.
was
So that
around
could
that
very well
long.
be what we have in this situation.
Rick
There
Hendrick.
is Rick Hendrick in the Superflow Motor Oils car, and he
What?
is the leader of this race, so he picks up 5 Winston
Rick
Cup bonus
Hendrick
points, and so
is
does
leading the
Dale
race.
Earnhardt, who did lead a lap just before we went
Is
caution.
he parking
Rick
it?
Hendrick is coming into the pits, and apparently he's going to get out of the car because he's already taken his window net down. So
What
he
is this race?
Evidently is going to let Elliott Forbes Robinson get in that car.
There's been a lot of
Watch
weird
to see
nuances.
if Rick Hendrick does indeed get out. Elliott Forbes
Rick
Robinson
Hendrick
is standing
stays out
by,
under
ready
caution,
to get
leads
in.
a lap,
Here
gets
comes
out of
Rick
the car.
And
Who's
Elliott
getting in it?
Forbes Robinson puts in some padding on the seat, as Elliott is
Shawn
not
Robinson?
nearly as tall and large in stature as Rick Hendrick is. But Elliott Forbes Robinson is being assisted
Elliott
as he
Forbes
gets into that car and will
Never
take
heard.
over the controls.
Not
Let's
gonna
go to
lie.
Dick Berggren.
Rick Hendrick led a lap
Well, I'm
in
with
the
Rick
final
Hendrick. He's got a big
Riverside
smile on his
race.
face and a lot of sweat. Rick, how was it?
It was good. I didn't want to get out of the car, but, you know, there was a plan to let Elliott get in. I might go back.
Well, why did you get out of the car if you didn't want to leave? It's your car.
Well, that was the deal. I had my fun yesterday. We thought we were going to win that race. And we had a great time, and the car's running real good today, and we
Race
led
car
a lap,
driver
so
Rick
I
Hendrick.
figured it was time I'd get out now.
But you might go back in.
Yeah, might go back.
He did. He almost won the race yesterday. Jerry Punches in Bill Elliott's pit. Jerry, what's happening up there?
Well, they're still working on the Bill Elliott car. And Elliott
Look
is
at
now
the
lost a
lack
lap
of,
sitting here with the
like,
hood up. They have a
safety
problem.
compared
The
to what
oil
there is
temperature
now.
went sky high in the
It doesn't
car
even
that
look like
last
there's
time
a
by, so
seat.
they brought the car down pit road.
It doesn't even
They've
look like
raised
he's
the
sitting
hood,
on
and
a
now
seat.
Ernie and Dan Elliott and some of the Coors crew are changing the hoses that go to the oil cooler. Possibly an obstruction in one of the hoses, maybe a leak. They're trying to check it out very thoroughly. They don't
solve
want
that
to
by
burn the
racing
engine or
there
blow it here on the road
January,
course, but they are
yeah,
losing a
yeah.
lot of valuable time. Already
Earlier
one
in the
lap
year.
here in the pits.
The car that won last
Even this
weekend
time
on the
of year.
high banks of Dover is not doing
No, it
well here
doesn't
this
really rain
afternoon
in
at
California,
Riverside as they continue
especially
to
in
work
summer.
on that car. Now it looks like that Dale Jarrett in the Hardy Oldsmobile is the car behind the pace car and shown as the leader.
How about that?
Rick Hendrick
First
led a
time
lap
that Dale
tonight.
has
I was
led
not
a Western
expecting
Cup
that.
race, I believe, in
Honestly,
his
wouldn't have
career.
thought
I
he
don't
was even
recall him
racing.
having been up front in any race, and I know that makes him feel good. Now we will.
I just
point
find that
out
funny, though.
Dale
Rick
has
Hendrick
not made a pit stop at either of these caution
leads a lap
periods,
in the
but,
final
he was
Riverside
running-
race. Parks it
he
while
started
he
in
leads,
19th
nonetheless.
position, had worked
He
his
was
way
leading
up
the
to
race, pulled
10th
off.
before this last caution, and so now
have
he
somebody
finds
else
himself
get the
in
car.
lead.
We are 14 laps
Omar,
into
thanks
this
for tuning
race
in.
and
14
caution
laps in,
because
they've
of some
had a
cars
couple
off the
cautions
track.
already.
Mike Gleason.
Two of
Earlier in
them,
the
I
race,
believe.
we asked you this classic trivia question: which driver
hang
won the
on, we
most
gotta pause
Winston
this
Cup
for a
races at
second. Which driver won the most Winston Cup races at Riverside International Raceway? I'm going to go with... It said Winston Cup, so it's definitely not Dan Gurney. Golly, I don't know. I'm going to go... I feel like I'm leaning towards Darrell Waltrip, but I don't remember him ever really being a good road course racer. I think of either Bobby Allison or Darrell Waltrip. I'm going to go Bobby Allison. I'm going to go B.
Riverside International Raceway. Was it Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, Darrell Waltrip,
Going
or
with
Dan
Allison,
Gurney?
B.
The
B
answer,
for Bobby.
Bobby Allison.
Let's go.
the
6 wins.
1983
Let's
Winston
go.
Cup champion, won a record 6
I
times.
may be a little
at
tired
Riverside
today, but
between 1971 and 1981.
get my trivia questions correct.
Still ahead in the race, the year's biggest movies, songs, and a review of the year in sports.
Number
Stay
18
with
will
us
later
right
be
here
bought out by
on
Joe
ESPN
Gibbs Racing in
Classic.
the early 90s. Come Yep.
Several thousand Southern California race fans are on hand here this afternoon for one of the last races at Riverside International
Okay,
Raceway.
so it wasn't
Well, we know
determined
there
that
are
this was going to be the
several,
final
at least
race.
two drivers
Bob
that
Jenkins
are
said one
watching
of the
our
last.
coverage today from their recuperation beds, namely Harry Gant and his son-in-law Larry Pollard. And we're
Yeah, that
very
guy said it
pleased
was
to
scored
report
good.
that Larry, who was injured in a crash last weekend during the Grand National race at Dover, has been released from the hospital and is recuperating, and the best to both of you gentlemen. And also gives us an opportunity here to run down some of the winners that we have had in racing this weekend earlier. Tommy Houston became the, the 12th, 13th. In 13 different races in Grand National competition at Orange County last night. Also, Shauna Robinson apparently became the first female to win a NASCAR-sanctioned race, the Charlotte Daytona event at Asheville, won by Shauna Robinson last night. Of course, earlier today, you saw the finish of the Le Mans race in France. Jan Lammers and his teammates won that one. Ayrton Senna, we mentioned as the winner of the Formula One race, the Canadian Grand Prix near Montreal.
Wow.
And last night,
It's kind of wild that they go over a bunch of different motorsport highlights from outside of NASCAR. They would never do that now. Oh, look out, pace car.
The green flag comes
Look
back
out,
up.
pace car.
18, and we are back to competition.
Well, Dale Jarrett leading, of course, Ricky Rudd right on his back bumper.
Dale Jarrett leading, but Ricky Rudd is giving him a challenge as they go into corner number 9.
Ricky seemed to be passing a lot of cars a lot quicker than anybody else through the pack when he kind of short-pitted earlier in the day. Oh, what a crossover. That was beautiful.
That is the place to pass, and he's going to get Jarrett as they come to the start-finish line.
Ricky Rudd goes back into the lead, but Dale Jarrett is staying right up there
And
with
side
him.
by
And some smoke
side.
coming. Looks like tire smoke coming from that Rudd car as he really had to bend it to get into that second corner.
You have to make a pretty
Richard
short
Petty
turn
in
to
third.
get in there because of the angle as a result of being on the outside of Jarrett.
So Jarrett back in second. That's Richard Petty running in third position in the STP Pontiac as they come up through the S's once again. And now enter turn number 6. Running in fourth position, Sterling Marlin in car number 44.
Oh, Richard going for
Behind
second.
him is Lake Speed, and now Richard Petty challenges for that
In
second
1988
position
at
as the cars go
Riverside,
through corner
Richard
number 8.
Petty going to
Inside is Petty,
P2.
outside is Dale Jarrett, and Richard Petty
Oh,
has picked up
I thought he
second
was
as
wiping out there.
contact looked like
That was a good
between
save.
Jarrett and Petty.
Yeah, they
Especially with
might have
other
touched
cars
it a
around
little
him.
bit, got Jarrett out of shape, and he's lost several more positions.
That corner to be side by side. He's going straight backwards.
Jarrett has not stopped as yet, but I guess he just wanted the pleasure of leading the Western Cup race for a while, so he stayed out there.
And indeed he did. And by the way, the information we got from NASCAR scoring was that Rick Hendrick did not lead a lap. He thought he did, but was not given credit for his last lap on the
Oh, never
racetrack.
mind. Rick Hendrick never led a lap.
You can see some great competition there ahead of Jarrett as their
Came in a lap too early under caution.
Number 9.
Oh,
That's,
wow.
Dale Earnhardt and
Definitely some contact there.
Bobby Allison and Lake Speed contesting for position.
Oh, Dale going in the grass.
The left side off the racetrack.
That was a shortcut.
Well, that is
Passing the grass before the pass in the grass.
Racetrack. Normally you don't see that
Feels
much
like freaking
passing
wheel
up through the Essex, but they're just driving around there as if there was plenty of room.
Well, you remember last year,
He's making
Dale
his own
Earnhardt
room.
with a really neat move going into the dust and picking up position.
Ricky was great on road
he
courses.
is using the S's in much the same manner.
Orange County being one of your home tracks. Awesome.
He loves this kind of racing. As we said earlier, he's never won on a road course, but he likes it. Sort of fits his driving style because you just slammer around the turns and drive it deep in, hit the brakes, and get on
Dale
the gas.
looking a
He
little
likes that
quicker
kind of
than
racing, but
Darrell Waltrip
so far
right
has
now.
not been able to win on a road course.
Now for a quick pit stop at
Oh,
Memory
man.
Lane. In 1988, Vice President George H.W. Bush
What?
easily defeated Massachusetts Governor Michael Dukakis in the
I don't
presidential
care.
election. Sonny Bono was elected mayor of Palm Springs, California.
I don't care about
The comic
politics
book hero
or
Superman
Superman.
celebrated his 50th birthday.
Yeah, Superman and politics during their NASCAR race.
And Dale Earnhardt. Behind those two, Terry Labonte. Earnhardt
Odd combination,
has been
I
on
will
the
say.
top 5 for 3 consecutive races. The
Yeah,
last
comics-
time that happened was September of '86 when he was 21st at Dover, 12th at Martinsville, and 9th at North Wilkesboro. And you're right, Ned.
Comics,
Lake
politics,
Speed
and
comes to
NASCAR.
pit road.
And this would certainly be an unscheduled pit stop. They go to work on the right side, so apparently he has cut a tire. So Darrell Bryant, his crew chief, Darrell, a former driver, goes to work on the car as we see Ricky Rudd leading Richard Petty.
Richard Petty with 5 wins here at Riverside.
All right, well,
Bobby
passing the grass
Allison
road
has
course
the
edition.
most.
ESPN
Darrell
things,
Waltrip
yeah.
has also won 5 races.
This is true.
Hey, Petty is not losing too much ground to Ricky Rudd. Petty, as we mentioned earlier, destroyed the car that he brought
Yeah,
here
Ricky's
to
really
race in
pulling away.
1988 Pontiac
I wonder how much
Grand Prix.
Richard's potentially
And
holding everybody
qualified
else
going
up
into turn
there.
6, so the brakes locked up and
Ricky Rudd definitely seems like he is
too
easily
hard,
got
hit
the
wall
fastest
very
car in the
hard,
field today.
and destroyed the car, so they had this
See if anybody can
1987
catch him
Pontiac
on the speed
trunk
department.
as a backup car, so
This.
that's the one he's racing and doing a good job with it.
My strategy on
Ricky
road
Rudd,
courses,
the
though.
pole sitter of the race, is leading at the moment. And we had a chance to talk to Ricky earlier in the weekend and ask him about driving.
It's amazing how close they get to that outside wall up the exit of that final
Really, my whole
final
history, my
turn.
background, you know, as a kid was road racing and go-karts. Now, even though that doesn't really compare too much, I've been seeing
Maybe on
these
West,
road
welcome
courses
into the
since I was
stream.
about 8, 9 years old, 10 years old. And I think maybe some of that comes back to me, some of the stuff
Yeah,
that,
I
even
think
though
it's
there
in
were go-karts that ran 120 mile an hour.
Oh, we got another
200
spinner.
pounds.
Oh, is
Some
that
of the things you can
DW?
learn from it, some of them you can't. And
I think
the
it's
motocross
Darrell.
experience that I had on running motorcycles on the dirt,
Side
I
ride.
think applies a lot here.
Could be
And
wrong
it's
on
sort
that.
of freestyle. Everybody's got a different way of doing it.
It
And
looked
I really
like
wouldn't
him,
say
and then I
one way is
couldn't
right
see
or
it
wrong, but
anymore.
Sometimes one guy can get
Nope,
around
number
it quicker
12.
than the next guy.
That's comments from Ricky Rudd. Meanwhile, Davey Allison just a few laps ago
that's
with
Bobby,
a problem
right?
off the course, and now Dad Bobby has slid off the course, kicking
Bobby
up
Allison.
a big cloud of dust, but Bobby will get
It looked
things
like-
going again and pull back
I saw
out
the
on
white
racetrack.
back bumper. I was
believe
thinking it was
he hit
Darrell
anything, Bob. I
Waltrip.
think he just spun around out into the dust. Took him a
He
little
lost a
while
lot
to
of
get
spots.
here.
Oh, is that Darrell?
Apparently he had gone off of the racetrack as well.
He did go off. Maybe they cut to it. No, it was the same guy. I thought I saw Darrell Waltrip spin out, but I don't know. I'm confused at what I just watched now. I thought I saw Darrell Waltrip spin out. He did, but they panned on Bobby Allison. And then when they cut back there, man, there's a lot of damage outside Darrell's car. Really, all around, you can see some.
I guess made contact with maybe Bobby Allison.
Well, he might have, or either he could have. It looks like the damage is on the
I think I
on the
wasn't
underneath part of it, and
I think I saw Darrell spin
guard
and they cut
railing
to a
up
different
there.
camera.
In fact, he's hit several things, Bob, because it's damage all the way around on that race car, just about every
Quite a
corner.
bit of
Yeah,
damage.
we are told, in
Especially
fact,
on
that
the
he
left
did
side.
come in contact with the guard rail up there, among other things.
Here's
And-
Brett Bodine with
Brett
smoke
Bodine
coming
won
from the
it.
Frisco
That's the
Ford.
second driver to blow a
And Bud
motor.
Moore, who's still
Pretty heavy
recuperating
smoke.
from a broken leg in Spartanburg, South Carolina, watching his car
Tyler Burbank,
come
thanks
into
for
the
tuning
pits,
in.
Bud. We're sorry to show you the Frisco Ford coming in.
Jeez, Elliot,
Looks
supposed to
like
get the
engine
boot
has
for Dakota. I had no
expired.
clue
That
that
car
was
is headed
supposed
to
to
the
happen.
garage area.
So it's out of the race.
I thought Kurt Busch
for
was supposed to be in the
Brett
booth.
Bodine, at least at the moment. Meanwhile, on the racetrack, we have some great competition.
I know they announced during the race last weekend Kurt Busch was supposed to be in the booth.
Robinson and Bill
Him and then somebody that works for the
Elliott,
F1
of course, trying to get back on the lead lap after
Haas
a
team.
couple of very long pit pit stops. And we have another yellow flag being displayed, and this one, we are told, is because of some oil on the racetrack that the track crews will have to come out
Probably from
and
that
soak
driver
up.
that was
And that would be up in turn 5, and it's going to be a break for Lake Speed.
Lap
who
23,
Ricky
there's
Rudd
already
was
been 3
about to
cautions.
lap. We see Rudd coming into
Lot of
turn
yellows in
9
this
now,
one.
and Lake Speed is just ahead of him. Lake had made that unscheduled pit stop, so this will let
It's
him
tough to
stay
keep track
in
of the
lead
strategy,
lap.
honestly,
So
with
it's
all the
going to be a
cautions.
good break for him, and Ricky Rudd brings it into the pits. No big surprise.
I was going to
He
say,
stopped
so
on
when
that
they race
first
back to the
caution
line,
period,
they
so
could
he's gonna
actually
come in
pit.
now. Dale
Like
Earnhardt
Ricky's
is
doing right
staying
here,
out
instead
there.
of pitting during the actual caution itself, because with it being a road course, you don't have to worry about going a lap down. This is a 2.5
So the Larry
plus mile
McReynolds led
racetrack.
crew goes to work on the left side of that car.
I didn't really factor
of
that
course,
in.
the owner of this machine.
Any of the
Kenny
older
himself
races we've seen
this
them
weekend
race back to
amongst
the
an
line.
all-star event down
We haven't
in
seen a road course
Atlanta.
yet. This is the first
They've
road course
changed
race
tires on the
ever
left
watched
side of
on
the car
Throwback
and
Thursday.
move around to the right side to make a 4-tire change.
Of course, they have plenty of time to do that on the road course. As we mentioned earlier, it takes more than a minute, almost a minute and a half, to make a lap under green. So under caution, it certainly will take a long time. Richard Petty has service on his SDP Pontiac and headed back out into the action. Others in the pits now
Don't win
include
the race.
Sterling Marlin, Jeff Budweiser, Neil Bonnet, Kyle Petty, Ken Schrader,
Third.
Derek
I couldn't tell who that was
and
in
Alan Coisley,
second
Dave
lap.
Jarrett, Bobby Allison now in.
And here's a guy who did not come in for
Dale
a
Earnhardt
stop.
staying
Dale
out,
Earnhardt,
getting the
who
lead.
is the leader. That's Rusty Wallace right
Jack
behind
taking
him.
like 10 reps to get the... Yeah, I pointed that out
Both of those
earlier.
drivers had made pit
Not
stops
that
during
specifically,
earlier
but
caution periods.
this is
So
the
they
old
decided
school
to stay
jabs.
out this time, since it looked like that we're going to have maybe more caution flags here today than usual, Bob.
You know, we have seen two
Getting the
groups
workout
of
in.
cars, so to speak, that are on pit road, and that I think is something that NASCAR really wants in order to keep all of the guys from coming in at the same time. The pits are so narrow here. Down to the pits once again.
Well, one of the cars that's going to stay on pit road for quite a while is Bobby Allison. I hope you can see it on your screen. Right now, there's water squirting through the grill on the number 12 automobile. Apparently, in that shunt, he has punctured the radiator. A lot of water leaking. Bobby Allison is in trouble today for sure. He has had his trouble with this racetrack, even though he's the
Impressive.
winningest driver
Putting it
here.
back out
He
there.
lost the national championship with a flat tire right at the very end of the last race
There's
from
a
one
lot
year's
of water.
event at Riverside.
Bobby Allison goes back out onto the racetrack nevertheless, but it appears as if just a matter of time before he'll have to bring that car in again with a tremendous amount of water coming through the grill.
As we mentioned earlier, Bobby was very fast in practice here yesterday afternoon, and was one of my picks to win this race today, even though he started back in 23rd position. But now, having the problems, I think that's going to certainly reduce his chances of winning here today. And so Dale Earnhardt now will not go 3 races in a row without leading a lap.
There's a good chance.
Has put
I
that
remember
Red
Joey
Chevrolet
Hand putting up
out
some
front
decent runs last
here
year with
now,
the next
so
gen car.
That'll give him the
And that
5
number
bonus
15
points.
on road courses. He was having some runs where he was like top 15 on speed. He was like
with a
15,
lot of damage done all around.
right
on
around
that car.
there.
Let's go to Jerry
Inside
Punch.
the top 20. He was out running
Well, as you
some
said,
bigger
Dan, and
names.
you and Bob said, every corner of this car has been bent
Curious to
somewhat.
see if
The Clyde
Jensen
Chevrolet,
Button
they're going to
can
work
do
on
the
the
same
left
thing.
side
Now,
of the
granted,
car.
it's his
Eddie
first Cup
Dickerson,
start
Jeff Hammond, and
versus
the crew changing left side tires,
least
cleaning
with,
the windshield.
Joey Hand,
One of the
he ran
biggest
in the
problems
Cup
Daryl had is
Series
he couldn't see, and the windshield was covered with dirt and some mud. Now they come around to the right side of the
and
car,
everyone was
and
new
we'll
to the
change
next
right
gen car
side
last year
tires.
versus
Apparently,
this year.
most of
Obviously,
this
all the
is
Cup
not
guys have
been
one
apparently very little
Bruce
testing,
Button.
but that's good news for the tire crew as they are working on the car and having 4 fresh tires. Daryl said the car drives awfully well. He did not lose a lap in that little chicane up there in the S's, and now with fresh rubber, he's ready to go at him once again. 4 fresh tires for Daryl Waltrip, former winner here. Like to get the last win at Riverside Raceway today. They're going to bend some sheet metal away. The car comes off the jack. They will check it over and pull some of the sheet metal, and Waltrip will be out in just a minute.
And Jerry, as you speak, Lake Speed has taken his car into the garage area. We mentioned that he was able to stay in the lead lap, but now
Seems
he
like
has
there's
taken
been a
his
lot of
car into
DNFs
the garage
already in
area.
this race.
And now we see the hood go up on Darrell Waltrip's
Mechanical
car as they
issues.
continue to work on
Driver
it.
spinning,
Several
installing.
having trouble here in the first 24 laps of this race. Well, we have been sampling the opinion of some of the race drivers here, some of those who have competed for the past few years on Riverside, asking them about their memories of leaving Riverside.
Well, I'm kind of sad to see it go. I've had a lot of good runs here. I've had some problems here and a few heartbreaks here, but I'm kind of sad to see it go.
We're under our third caution because of oil on the racetrack up in turn number 5, but we will be going back to competition as the cars go down the backstretch. And here is Lake Speed in for another stop. So we've seen several those that you consider real potential winners visiting pit road quite regularly. Here is Darrell Walterpin again, and as you see in the background, Davey Allison is pulling out of the pits
out there.
as they have gotten the sheet metal away from
broken,
that car.
honestly.
Bobby Allison remains on pit road. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
They will do some managing on the Darrell Waltrip car. They take the duct tape and will cover over some of the open and puncture wounds on the left side of the car where some of the sheet metal has been peeled away. Want to move the car as smooth as possible. They run almost 170
not even
miles an
exactly
hour
sure
on
where
that
him and Bill
backstretch,
were
so
running at
it's
the
very
time of
important to have the car
announcing.
as sleek and slippery as possible. The corners of the car where it's been shoved in the right front and right rear, nothing they can do about that, but they will peel over some sheet metal on the left door.
And Bob, as we saw Lake Speed going out, he was actually coming out of the garage area. He had gone into the garage area. Don't know how much time he lost in there, but whatever was wrong, they were able to get it repaired, so he is back out on the track. Meanwhile, Bobby Allison is still in the pits as we see Darrell Walter trying to catch up to the field because the green flag is waving once again. We're back to racing.
And Dale Earnhardt is the leader on lap number 26 as we go back to caution. Rusty Wallace
every
getting
Riverside
past
race
here.
from
He was
78
second
to
behind
80.
the pace car, but now falls all the way back to fourth.
NASCAR had Ontario
As Phil Parsons has jumped into that second position right behind Dale Earnhardt. Now Rusty has third position back. And
this was really
fourth is
before
going to be the
LA
number
was like,
19
I mean,
car
LA
driven by
was
Chad Little. And Chad, who is the defending
you look at Los
West
Angeles now
champion, is doing a
versus,
fine
you know,
job
what
and certainly has
just
to be
outside
considered
Los
as a
Angeles
potential
like
winner
here.
of this race.
I would think that he would be. He's an attorney by trade and a very
a lot
fine
of
race
buildings
driver.
out of
There he is in the number 19 car, right ahead of Roy Smith in the 79 red car, who's also a regular on the Winston West circuit.
Bob, one interesting point. We said there were only 2 drivers that started on Hoosier tires here today, and Jeff Bodine was one of those. He has since switched to Goodyear tires.
And you can see several cars getting off of the course as they once again move up through the S's, kicking up the dust. Now through turn number 6 once again.
This is a common theme.
Every once in a while,
I will say it does seem like there's
make
quite a
a
few
straight
people
shot
out
across
this
one of
race.
those dirt places and get by with it, but it's not very often as that car did.
It's nice to see the stands full and then
car
let me
just
not
a
go
little
there.
bit
Kind of similar
sideways through the
to
corner there as Davey
like with Road
Allison
America for the
comes
last couple
on
years.
to actually into the garage area.
pretty good
They
attendance
worked on that
2
car
years in a
and
row,
did a
and then they end
tremendous
up just
amount of
not
work on
going
it after
anymore.
his spin off the track, and now apparently not working too well. Took it back into the garage area. While he's doing that, his dad, Bobby, pulls out onto the racetrack after having lost time in the pits.
Dale Earnhardt now begins to stretch out the lead once again as we follow the number 79 car driven by Roy Smith, who is 5th. And Rusty Wallace has gotten by Phil Parsons. And so Rusty reassumes 2nd.
He simply outbraked him going
Phil
into
Parsons
turn
is in
9.
2nd
He
while he's in
really
3rd
drove in
now.
hard there as Phil backed
Rusty
off a
Wallace
little bit
getting
going
around.
into that turn. Rusty just drove her deep on down in there and went around.
realize Phil Parsons is that
Rusty
far up in the
lost
running.
2 positions on the restart. The car just didn't seem to go when he stepped on the accelerator and the green flag dropped. But he has since moved back up to 2nd spot. Now
himself a good
dropping
race.
Phil Parsons back to 3rd. There's the lead that Dale Earnhardt has gotten, but Rusty, it appears to be catching up and closing in.
Once he
How
got
far
around
back
Phil
Ricky
Parsons,
Rudd
I
is.
think he did start picking up on Earnhardt.
A lot of these drivers at the front of the field right now stayed out of the pits during that last caution.
Earnhardt followed by Wallace.
Probably another reason why
And Phil Parsons
is up in
in 4th
3rd.
position is Chad Little. 5th is Roy Smith.
Chad
and
Little in
6th
4th. I didn't
position
realize Chad
is
Little was
Rick
around that
McRae.
long.
7th is Ernie Irvin. So a lot of these Winston Western guys are showing in the top 10 with 27 laps completed.
1988.
Bob, as Jerry Punch mentioned at the top of the show, the first NASCAR sanctioned race was run here in 1958. And then
Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We have Throwback Thursday live streams every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're watching every NASCAR race based on what track they run here. That specific race weekend. Going to Dakota this week, so because there's only 2 races there, decided to get an older track that is no longer on the schedule, do a Throwback Thursday live stream of it. And so a little bit of nuance this weekend. As well for us to watch Riverside. 38% of the votes went to this race, and then actually very close between this and Rockingham. 27% of the votes went to the final Rockingham race in 2004.
We have to point out that the cars are so
with the,
different
top
today.
2
They
votes
will
on the
take
poll.
more abuse than the cars did back in those days. And there's a
Petty's having a good
competition
race.
out there as well.
Here
Oh man, hard crash. What the heck was that?
We can't get a number. It's
There's like fans right
Ruben
there.
Garcia
Has come outside of the racetrack
Oh my
into
goodness,
the
he
corner
went through the
of,
wall?
right at corner of the grandstand.
Oof, boy, it's
I didn't even know about
it's
this.
a miracle that the car did not go into
Wow.
an area of spectators right down here. This is right to the left
I had
of
no
where
clue
the
this
right of
happened.
our broadcast booth.
Looks
And
like a
it's
gnarly
area
impact too.
where,
Good thing they had that concrete
there is
barrier around
no
the
guardrail.
grandstands.
There is an
All those
opening as the
people.
cars come off of corner number
That could have been-
9.
that could have
before
been
the
literally
guardrail
the
begins
worst
to protect
thing
the
that could have
spectators
happened.
here on the front
Now, this is a
stretch.
bad
He
thing to
has
happen in the last
crashed
race at Riverside,
through
don't
a
get me
tire
wrong.
barrier.
Could you
and is,
imagine though if
also right
that
in
car
front
caught
of the
air?
scoring stand.
And it looks like that's a place that it looked like it would be impossible to get into, Bob, with the race car, but don't know what position he got into that threw him over in
Can you
that
imagine
direction.
sitting right there, seeing a car coming at you at
Let's
full
see if we
speed,
can
actually going
pick
through
it
the
up and
wall?
see what did happen as he's coming off of the track. He's out of control as we see him coming across there.
Now
And
watch him.
He's already
hits
got a lot
that
of damage.
barrier, just the corner of it.
Dang,
And the car
oh
goes
my
up into
God.
there, hits the other concrete wall barrier.
Cinder
there,
blocks right
and
there.
in
Just watch the
almost
cinder
into
blocks
the
in there.
spectator area, and you can see the spectators scrambling for safety.
Wow.
It looks like, from our vantage point here, that they were okay, thank God.
They sure did scramble to get out of the way, though, as he broke
Oh, the
through
people
a
just standing there
concrete
like, holy
barrier.
shit.
But it
Oh my
appears as
gosh.
if, and we haven't received
I've
any
never seen
word
that
from
right
many of the
before.
safety officials, but it appears as if everybody is okay. There was some catch fencing there protecting the racetrack from the spectators. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Bob, from my vantage
Lord
point, that
Joshua
looks
Rumsey,
like
thanks for
exactly
tuning in.
what happened, that the safety measures did indeed protect the spectators. In fact, there is
Barely.
a wall that's between where the spectators are and where
He went through,
Garcia's
like,
car went.
3
And that
fences
is a
slash
key factor
walls to get to
keeping
the
everybody okay in this
stopping
particular
point.
situation.
There wasn't that
So
many
a
people
very
over there at the
unusual
time, but still, there
accident
was
here
people
as
over
we
there.
see it again. That's Ruben Garcia coming off the course, just out of turn number 9, going through this
the
guardrail,
windshield popped
scattering
off
the
the car,
tires, going through some catch fencing.
Wow, what a
breaking
wild
through
ride.
a concrete barrier, but again, there is catch fencing then that protects that area from the spectators, and that's what apparently has
I
prevented
wonder
any
what was
serious
going.
spectator
Like,
injuries.
could you
And that was
imagine?
one of our ESPN camera cables that was snapped as well as he went in there. Boy, that is a very rare type of a situation.
Boy,
Could you imagine if I had a
to think
YouTube
that he
channel
went through
back in
such a narrow
1988 and I
opening
was
there
at this
is just
race?
hard to
And
believe.
through 2 walls.
I was
Yeah,
sitting
and
right
Here
there.
we're going to see
Could
it
have caught
at
it right
normal
on
speed,
camera.
and you can see he's coming through there at a pretty good clip. He knocks
One of
that
the
wall
most
down,
viewed
hits that one, and
videos
the
on YouTube.
spectators begin to scramble
Racing-wise.
as quickly as they can. Of course, as you mentioned, there is a wire fence, but just in front of where
just
the
that they
car
had,
stopped.
like,
So that certainly
Video
had
cameras
to
back then.
work to the advantage
that were in
of the
normal use
spectators
like they
there,
are
and
today.
perhaps caught some of the debris,
Or
some
even
of the
like
block
cell
that was
phones,
flying
quick
from that
capture,
wall.
something like that happening.
Ruben Garcia, the driver involved, as now we see the number 19 car of Chad Little shown
Minus 10
as the
at the time.
leader of the race, but
Yeah, it
we
was
are
minus
under
11.
caution for the 4th time with a total of 29 laps completed in the Budweiser 400.
For another trip down memory lane. In the world of sports, back in 1988, Doug Williams, the first black starting quarterback in the Super Bowl, led the Redskins to a 42-10 rout over the Broncos. Michael Jordan was named the NBA's MVP for the first time.
Wow.
Wayne Gretzky was traded by the Edmonton Oilers to the Los Angeles Kings, and Oral Hershiser pitched 59 consecutive scoreless innings to top Don Drysdale's record and led the Los Angeles Dodgers to a World Series title.
That was their
Still
last
ahead,
World
the year's
Series
biggest movies,
win
from a
today.
fish to a
If I'm
rabbit.
not mistaken, unless
Stay
they
with
won it
us.
in the last
It's the
couple of years.
1988
I really
Budweiser
have no clue. I
400.
haven't paid too much attention to baseball the last couple of years.
Well, there's the driver of the car, Ruben Garcia, who has been helped to the wrecker, but he was moving pretty good, so apparently no injury to Ruben Garcia.
Feels
They're
like it
still
took him
trying
a
to get
while
his
to get out of
car
the
out of
car.
a narrow opening that he went through
Out of
and
race.
nearly crashed into a group
You
of
don't
people,
say.
but we believe that everybody is okay down there.
Thank
But it's
goodness
good to see
everybody's
certainly
okay.
that he was okay because he took 2 hard licks.
I'm in
as he
disbelief
hit
rewatching
the
this, knowing this
guardrail,
happened
knocked
so
it
long
down. The
ago.
car
I didn't
went
even
up
know
in the
this
air as we
happened.
saw the front end of it, and then he hit the concrete retaining
Just tuning in,
wall.
wondering why they're
So
under
he
caution.
really
This guy literally
took
just
2
wrecked through the
good
front
hard
stretch
licks.
grants.
But
Not through the
the
grandstands,
race
but
cars,
towards the
as
grandstand.
we've seen so many
Went through the
times,
wall.
are built so well.
He hit the end of the
and
guardrail, which
requirements of
really was
NASCAR. certainly pay off in a situation
it
of
definitely
this sort.
wasn't sturdy.
And there you can see that there is Ruben Garcia. He's gotten out of the wrecker now and is walking around. So Ruben is okay. One of the regular Winston West competitors makes his home in San Dimas, California. We wonder whether or not there are going to be repairs made to the guardrail and to the concrete wall to protect the spectators from any further incident that might occur down there. And that's a question that we simply cannot answer at the moment.
I mean, you'd have to imagine they're going to
Ruben's
have to
car
do
out of
something.
that area first of all, and then look at the safety that remains down there to find out whether or not indeed it is safe.
I'm
for the
surprised they're not
spectators
on
to
a red
remain in that
flag
area.
situation
Bobby,
right now
it's
trying to
next
fix the wall.
impossible for a car to get over there on that side of the racetrack because as they come off at turn 9, they're swinging out against the wall, and then they have a tendency to go back
to the concrete wall to protect the spectators from any further incident that might occur down there. And that's a question that we simply cannot answer at the moment. They're going to have to get Ruben's car out of that area first of all, and then look at the safety that remains down there to find out whether or not indeed it is safe for the spectators to remain in that area.
Bob, it's next to impossible for a car to get over there on that side of the racetrack because as they come off at turn 9, they're swinging out against the wall, and then they have a tendency to go back the other way to line up to go into the first turn, and that area is somewhat 40 feet or so off of the racetrack, and it takes a very unusual situation for a car to get out of control.
I mean,
and
yeah,
go
but
that
we
side.
just
I've been
saw a
coming here
very
to Riverside
unusual
since
situation where a car
1983,
did go
and
there.
don't remember ever seeing a car in trouble on that side of the racetrack. Now, certainly we've seen them hit the outside wall on turn 9, but this is beyond that.
Wow.
31 years they've been running here at Riverside, and probably never in its history
His car's still
an
sitting
accident
there. They
like
didn't
we have
move the
seen
car
here
yet.
this afternoon. We'll be
You would
right
have to
back.
imagine there's a red flag, right? Yeah, okay. I was going to
We're
say.
back at Riverside for ESPN Speed World on this Sunday evening. Actually, on the East Coast, it's about 2:45 here in the Western time zone. The Budweiser 400 is under red because of an accident that occurred out of turn number 9. Some of the barriers and some of the fencing was torn down when a car went through
I wouldn't
that
want
area.
to sit
So
over there
we've been
anymore.
Under red to make repairs and bring in barriers. And here is again the crash.
I mean, I will
Ruben
say they have
Garcia, the
more
driver
of a
involved.
barrier. Well, I have
Something
to look
broke
at
on the
this.
steering on his car as he came off of turn 9, and he crashed through
There
the
wasn't
first
much of a
barrier,
guardrail there.
and then through a
There's a
fence,
fence.
into a concrete wall,
And then there was
went
a
right on
cinder
through
block
it
wall,
up to another
2 feet
fence
high.
that separates the spectators, and you can see
I mean,
the
lucky to not
spectators
get hit by
scrambling
any of
for
those
safety.
cinder blocks
We
that
have
wash
no
off the
report
front
of
of
any
that car.
injuries.
Miraculous situation, so they did bring in some barriers and now have the spectators protected up in that area. So we are
I
ready to
don't
go
know
back
if
to
they're
racing
like-
here in just a few moments. There are 32
If that
laps
happened, if I
completed,
was
so
sitting
we're a
there
third of the way
and they
into
and they
the
deem like, oh no,
Budweiser
you guys should be
400.
safe now. I'd be
And
like,
at
hell
the
no,
moment,
get me out of here.
Car number 19
Give me in
is
another
the leader.
seat.
Ricky
I'm
Rudd
not
is
sitting there
second.
anymore.
Terry Labonte is third.
I mean, I'm a
Sterling
passionate
Marlin
racing
fourth,
fan, but if
and
I
Jeff
just saw that
Bodine
happen
is
in front of me,
fifth.
I'm like,
Running
the
in
chances of
sixth
that
position
happening
is
again?
Ken Schrader. Seventh is Benny Parsons.
There's no way they
Eighth is Kyle Petty.
have fixed it
In
perfectly.
ninth
Not
is
that
Dale
quick. I mean,
Jarrett.
granted, we probably.
10th, Derek Cope. In 11th,
I would imagine
Michael
there's a pretty big pause in the
12th
action.
position belongs to Terry Petrus. 13th to Phil Parsons. In 14th is Neil Bonnet. Running 15th is Rusty Wallace.
No, this is not
16th is
Sonoma.
Darrell Waldrop. 17th is Dale
Completely
Earnhardt.
different road
The
course.
08 car of Rick McRae is running 18th. Then Richard Petty is 19th. In 20th position is Roy Smith. 21st, Mark Martin. 22nd, Rick
before
Hendrick,
Sid.
now being driven by Elliott Forbes Robinson. The 04 car is shown in 23rd position. That's Herschel McGriff. In 24th is Alan Kulwicki. 25th, Buddy Baker. 26th, Ernie Urban. In 27th position is the 76 car of Tom Kendall. Then comes the 73 of Bill Schmidt. 66, John
I'm
Krantz.
curious to know in the chat how
31
many of you guys
car,
knew that
Patrick
wreck happened.
Hoffman. Dave
That we
Marcus.
just saw.
Then
'Cause I had
down
zero clue
is
that
Bill
happened.
Elliott in car number 9. 2 laps down is Bobby Allison. Also 2 laps down is Lake Speed, and 8 laps down is the 63 car driven by Jocko Majako.
Well, I mean,
So
before
there are
NASCAR
all the
went to
cars that
Sonoma,
remain
I think
on
is
the
what
racetrack.
they were
And
all
it's
kind of
interesting to
implying.
note that Bill Elliott is lined up between Chad Little and Ricky Rudd. So when we go back to green,
Sonoma hasn't been around
Bill
that
Elliott
long,
will
though.
be trying to
Not
get
since
his
the
lap
60s.
back by passing the leader, Chad Little.
And in case you just joined us, Bill Elliott lost
Because they just
a lap
had their
in the
30-year
pits during
anniversary
one of the
there,
earlier caution periods
2019.
when something went wrong that caused the oil temperature
When
to
they
go up
introduced
on
the
his
carousel
first
once again, the
They
old original
probably made
layout.
some repairs. He got back out, but he
That was
did
a
go
30-year.
one lap down during that stop.
We were red for 25
So,
minutes and
89.
5 seconds, but now the
Been the
cars are
first
back
year.
out on the racetrack. Again, they're
Well, they
getting
have
temperatures
racing.
up on those cars before we go back to green flag conditions.
I mean, that could have
And we
just been
must
30 years for
compliment
NASCAR,
the
then, too,
flag
I
safety
guess.
workers here at Riverside because
That
they
might
have
have been
made
it.
repairs down in that area very quickly, considering all the damage that was done. And you can see there the 2
I mean, look, okay,
barriers that
right
were
here,
brought in on
yeah, he
forklifts
crashed through that wall,
that
but
now
this
separate
fence
the
and
racetrack
this
from
wall
this
that was right here,
area.
that's not there
And
anymore.
Bob, 2 cars that
So,
have been out
if that car
for a
gets
while.
into
One
that
of those
point-
is Rick Wilson in the Kodak car. They made
they just not
repairs. Rick
expecting
told
him to-
us earlier that he did
not
plan to get
expecting
back out
anybody
to
to
replace the
jump
transmission
over
in
that wall,
car.
too.
And Davey Allison had gone into the garage area for a while. He too
Crazy.
has gone back out onto the race course.
It's
This
the only
red
race
flag
you've
was
seen.
certainly beneficial to them because they
You've
were
seen the
able to
game
make
before watching
25 minutes
racing.
worth of repairs to their car and
that's more than
essentially
I
not
knew
lose
about this
anything.
track.
No, can't do that. Can't work on the car.
Yeah, this is the
during
first
a red
race I've
flag
ever
period.
watched.
In fact, a NASCAR official will
Riverside.
stand by. If they're working on a car when a red flag comes out, they have to stop. But the moment then the clock restarts, they are able to start work again.
There is Lake Speed going back out onto the racetrack. Meanwhile, they continue to work on the Dave Marcus car.
Well, he just came into the pits. Dave had been running very well here today, but he just came in as they came by to get the signal. They'll get the green flag once they get up to turn 8. Whatever they were doing under the hood, they've completed that. Rechecking the tires to see that they're tight. They push Dave off, and away he goes.
And the 66 car of John Krebs also in for a tire change, and they now move over to the right side of that car to change all 4.
His dad is one of the NASCAR officials, Art Krebs, and his John's mother.
Could you
back
imagine
home in
if, like, your
Charlotte,
dad
North
was one of the
Carolina, her son race here today.
NASCAR officials? Could you
Always
imagine
very
in a
anxious to know what's
situation
going
like a
on, so
WO
glad to
line
get a
rule
shot
at
of him
Talladega
making a pit stop, and he's back
to
out
win a
on
race
the
and,
back
like,
out in the action.
I don't know, I'm trying to
And the
think
green
of
flag
a
comes
situation.
back
Just
out
say,
on
like,
number 34. We are
Randy
racing
LaJoy,
again
Corey
in the
LaJoy's
Budweiser
dad was, like,
400
one of the
Winston
NASCAR
Cup race.
officials or
The
something
final
strange
Winston
like
Cup event at Riverside
Oh, no, he didn't do it.
International Raceway. We've been
Race
red,
director.
but now back to green, and the racing
Imagine if one of the
resumes on the
NASCAR.
track.
Imagine a current
Chad
driver, their
Little,
dad was like
the
race
defending
director.
Winston West champion is leading, but look at
There'd be
Bill
no way
Elliott
he
in
could
the
have that
number 9
position.
Coors Motorcraft Ford passing Little
Having any sort
and
of
getting
family
a lap back.
member in the field.
Now Bill Elliott needs a caution period once he's gotten in front of the leader. But Ricky Rudd is coming back up very strong, and Rudd is shown to be the fastest car on the racetrack most of the afternoon. It'll be interesting to see if Bill Elliott can stay out in front of him.
Battle for the lead. Now Ricky Rudd has it. Battle for second position. Sterling Marlin has it as Chad Little drops back to third. Jeff Bodine is in fourth, and Terry Labonte in fifth position as they come up through the S's.
So weird they restarted the backstretch, yeah.
Here, but has
I mean, it's not like the
gotten his lap
backstretch. They
back and
really
is
have a
not
couple
the leader of the
corners
race.
before they
That
get
stage
back to the
belongs to
start-finish
the
line. But it is weird that they do
Interstate
it
Buick number
where they're at.
26, driven by Ricky Rudd.
And he's closing in on Bill Elliott.
Especially when you consider the fact that the
Trying to
pace
put him
car's
a
got a
lap
little
down
ways
here
to
as
go
quickly as
before
he
you
can,
get out of
because
the
he
way.
knows that if Bill Elliott stays in the lead lap, that he
That's
can be a
that a
strong
couple times, seen
contender.
it a couple
They
times
come out
already.
of corner number 8 and go down this long backstretch in which speeds reach around 140 miles an hour.
That's
the
it?
average qualifying speed
I would have
here this
expected them to be
weekend.
going faster, honestly. I feel like
Ricky
these
Rudd
camera angles
qualified at 118.484.
make it seem like they're going fast at
We see
140
Little continuing
on
to
that
drop
long
back.
straightaway.
Terry Labonte is passing Chad Little. And
decline,
now
too.
Little is
Stu Isaac,
positioned
thanks
right
for
ahead of
tuning in.
Kyle Petty on the racetrack.
Here's a battle between Jeff
Samuel
Bodine in
Rock
car number 5 and Terry
watching
Labonte
as
in
well.
car number 11. Both of those accomplished
race cars.
road racers.
The battle for third position. Labonte putting the heat on Jeff Bodine. They
Oh,
crossed the
boy.
line. Looks like they may have had contact there.
That was very
on
close.
The straightaway before they went into corner number 1.
I don't think they made contact yet.
Jeff Bodine is in third position.
We would have known if they made contact.
And we saw Kyle Petty move around Chad Little and take over the 5th position.
races once again. Jeff Bodine showing a little bit of damage on the left front side of that race car. And now we see Elliott remains ahead of Ricky Rudd on the racetrack. So Elliott is on the lead lap, but Rudd is right there on his back bumper. And some smoke coming from the Bodine car. Probably just tire smoke, though, as he braked going into
Looked like it was tire smoke.
Could be, but boy, Terry Labonte is really putting the pressure on him.
Here they come down the backstretch. Labonte will go to the
Texas Terry making a
high
move.
side, the outside of the racetrack, and he will pass Jeff Bodine. And so Terry Labonte now moves into that third position. Second is Sterling Marlin, the leader Ricky Rudd. Then comes Jeff Bodine and Kyle Petty, followed by Chad Little, then Ken Schrader, Benny Parsons, and Dale Jarrett.
Labonte's car seems to be working very
What lap are we on? I have zero clue.
Number 11.
I don't know. They'll flash it up every time they go to commercial
He's
break
running in the second position.
or come back.
We've already had 4 caution periods in the first third of this race.
Oh, somebody blowing up.
Oh, there's some big smoke coming from the Jeff.
Yeah, that's an engine detonation right there.
Exhaust pipes.
And he's staying out on the racetrack. Now, I don't know if it's even
Right until she
coming out of that
blows.
car or not, but a lot of smoke. And boy, that could be
That's the
trouble
third
for
car
the
that's
cars
just-
behind him, because if there's oil coming out of that car, and apparently it's not, because
Well,
Kyle
no,
Petty
that's the
coming
second
up on
Bodine to
lead,
blow
is
up
able to
too.
get
Brett
good
Bodine
traction
blew
as
an
they go
engine
up into
early.
turn 6.
Now Jeff's
Certainly not
doing
the
the
area
same
of the
thing.
racetrack that you want to put down.
Tough day for
the
Rick
through the
Hendrick.
S's. But apparently
Leading the
there
race,
is
pitted, got out of the
one
car
coming
while
from that
leading, and
Bodine
then
car, although he appears to be slowing now as he approaches
Jeff Bodine.
turn number 8, and will be black flagged by the NASCAR officials.
Car's still running at a pretty good clip, so whether he's
Dark
working a
Crypto,
ball
welcome
line
into
or
the stream.
what it is, it looks like oil smoke. Quite a bit of it coming from the car, but
Lack of
he's still able to
information on
run
this
good as he
broadcast.
gets down the backstretch.
Yeah,
He's running very
that's the
strong.
only thing I
Sure is,
don't.
staying ahead of
I will say though, with the 1992 Hooters 500, I thought they did a great job. All the way throughout the course of the race, there was a leaderboard.
Finish line this time. Now Kyle Petty going to the outside of the race.
I feel like it had to be really odd watching NASCAR like at this time on TV, knowing like what lap they're on, what the strategies are on, because it feels like I've been lost honestly most of this race. Who's pitting when, what the strategies are. Because we've seen a lot of split strategies with all the early cautions in this race.
Well,
What, there's been like 4 or 5 cautions first half of the race.
Waddell Wilson told me a minute ago that Jeff said on the radio the car was going to be running fine, just smoking very, very heavily. The net speculation of possibly an oil line or something that may have ruptured on the car may be indeed accurate. They are going to raise the hood, and a cloud of smoke comes from beneath the hood, and now Jeff Bodine will shut the car off, and they will look to try to find out what the problem is. This is the same race car that Bodine was here last November with and was dominant here at Riverside. He led the most laps and
Black
seemed to be
smoke
on his
coming
way
out
to
of there,
victory.
too.
With 11 laps to go, he cut a right front tire and finished back in the field. And again, tough break for Bodine at Riverside, California.
The Rick Hendrick team entered 4 cars for this race, and 2 of them have been in numerous times for pit stops, Jeff Bodine and Darrell Waltrip. The other 2, driven by Ken Schrader, and the car now driven by Elliott Forbes Robinson, are still out there in competition. There you can see Bill Elliott leading.
Still green, no caution.
Ricky Rudd, but Bill is simply getting his lap back. The leader of the race is Rudd in number 26. Back with more, the Budweiser 400, right after
Lap
this.
38 of 95.
Back, I'm Mike Gleason.
Hi,
Here's
Mike
just a
Gleason.
sampling of the blockbusters on the big screen in 1988. Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise starred in the biggest movie of the year, Rain Man, which earned over $86 million. Kevin Costner chased the minor league home run record, and Susan Sarandon chased Tim Robbins in Bull Durham. Jamie Lee Curtis, John Cleese, and Kevin Kline teamed up in A Fish Called Wanda. And Kathleen Turner lended her voice to Jessica Rabbit.
Who Framed Roger
Who
Rabbit?
Framed Roger Rabbit. Now let's return to the 1988 Budweiser 400 right here on ESPN
I'm trying to
Classic.
figure out what year this.
Quaker State Buick
Broadcasting
Green driven
place.
by Ricky Rudd,
ESPN
who
Classic
began the
place.
race from pole position and now has the lead. As in second
Seen a
position,
bunch
we
of,
have
like,
Terry
sports fans at
Labonte
the
in
bottom
car
of the
number
screen
11,
that
followed
scroll
by
across
Sterling
that I
Marlin at
recognize.
44, Kyle Petty in car 21,
Feel like it
and
was all
Rusty
that.
Wallace in number 27 with
So they're
45 out of the
halfway,
95
just about
laps
45 to
completed.
95, 50 to go. A little less than halfway through the
We're
race.
inside the car of Dale Jarrett.
Who's
Like
following
caution
Neil
so
Bonnie
far.
in car number 75. Bonnie just passed Jared on the last lap.
The race is 4 hours long. I don't think this race is 4 hours. I mean, we're not going to include the red flag, obviously, for the car going Here
you
the
see
train
the
stands,
long back stretches that head down through there
through the
to
front
the
stretch
Bridge.
wall.
This is the fastest point on the racetrack. He's probably run about 170 miles an hour, maybe 175 as to get into that point. You see him shift down into third gear as he goes into turn 9, dips down to the inside. You see Bonnie's car drift out just a little bit. Dale gets right down on the white line as he comes around there, and that seems to be the best way around, and heads off of turn 9 up to the start-finish line.
That turn number 9, Ned, it looks like such a long, sweeping turn, but it also, on the other hand, seems like you're in that thing forever.
Well, you are in it for a long time. However, it'll come up pretty quickly on you because you get into it very fast, and you have to get off of it very fast as well, as we've heard a number of drivers already.
Yeah, I did take a glimpse of racing reference
on the racetrack that you can either lose a lot of time or make up a lot of time.
when I was looking up
We're
to see
looking back at the
exactly.
Richard Petty STP Pontiac, and Richard is in
when this
13th position,
I
but
didn't
now
know
you can see him
obviously
closing
the
in
detail when
on
this race was
Dale
because I didn't want
Jarrett.
to spoil myself.
You could see Richard's
saw who
car
won,
bounce
and
as
I
he
remember
got
seeing
just
the
one
race
of
time
his
was
wheels
like
off
2
the track
hours
a little
and
bit as he went
57
through one of the
minutes.
S turns.
So it was a little less than 3 hours.
That's Darrell Waltrip following
Really about similar
Richard
length
Petty.
of this race
And
as what
behind
we've seen the last few races
Waltrip
this season.
could be the number 6 car of Mark Martin. Anyway, they're down the backstretch
As far as
once
the
again.
laps time from
Well,
dropping
we
to
mentioned
flight
at
to
Talladega
second
that
flight.
Dale Jarrett, he doesn't drive all the races for Cale Yarborough. There's 6 remaining that he'll drive for someone else, and it looks like that he will be back in a Hoss Ellington car at the Michigan race, thanks to Raven Boats and Portalube and Panel Sweatshirts and Bud Light and Coates and Clark and a lot of sponsors putting together a deal as Dale now tries to move on the inside and Chad Little off of turn 9.
5 cars nose to tail through corner number 9, and that's Chad Little dropping to the inside and making a pit stop. Now, Dale Earnhardt has already made a pit stop just in the last few laps while we were in commercial.
Yeah, that makes sense,
Dale
'cause, I mean,
Earnhardt made a stop.
Dale
and
stayed
so
out
is
of the
trying to
pits
catch
early.
back up to the rest of the field.
He made a stop for 4 tires.
I think it was before the last caution, if I
Unscheduled pit
remember
stop, and
correctly.
also Bill Elliott, who for a while was back in the lead.
So he had
lap, but
stayed out
at
through the
same
last
time
2
that
rows,
Earnhardt hit him, Bill Elliott came in as well for a change of tires. We're still watching Richard Petty behind Dale Jarrett as they scramble up through the S's into turn 6.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is
Darrell
1980.
Waltrip right behind Richard Petty, who was off the track earlier, did quite a bit of sheet metal damage to his Tide Chevrolet, but he's running in 13th position and, of course, is on the lead lap.
And right behind
2
Darrell
Red
Waltrip
Wings
is
on the
Bobby
Blues,
Allison
awesome.
in car number 12. And
I have,
a little bit
8.5 on the
those
under
two
on
had
Bulls.
a meeting out there on the
This game
racetrack
tonight.
and ran into each
Yeah.
other and slid off the track, and now they're running nose to tail out there once again.
The leader is coming into the pits. Ricky Rudd in car number 26 is coming into the pits, and Rusty Wallace has just moved around the car number 44. And let's go to the pits and Jerry Punch.
Ricky Rudd coming in. This is a scheduled pit stop for the Quaker State Buick. The reason being is they saw the pit stop that Earnhardt and Elliott made a few laps ago. Now, both Earnhardt and Elliott had good tires. They wanted to bring Ricky Rudd down pit road and put some fresh outside tires on the car. Rudd down pit road in 14 and 2/10 seconds, fresh Goodyear tires.
So a good stop.
14.2, that's a really fast stop
in
in 1988.
The racetrack, but without question, the story to this point in the race has to be Rusty Wallace, who is leading, and there he is, as he has come on to now run in second spot.
I'd be questioning whether they got the lug
Labonte
nuts
is the
tight.
leader of the race, but just moments ago, and he's gaining on Terry Labonte. Just moments ago, Rusty Wallace moved around the car number 44 of Sterling Marlin, and he is definitely picking up on the car number 11, but the caution is on the racetrack.
Well, this will certainly be a break for Labonte, Wallace, and Marlin, who need a pit stop and will be able to get it under a yellow flag condition, whereas Dale Earnhardt and Ricky Rudd have already made their
Caution's
stops.
out
It isn't
again.
certainly as much of a factor.
I've lost
because
track
the
of how many
running
yellows
on a
there's
road
been so
course,
far.
but
What,
on
5?
lap number 49, the yellow comes out for the 5th time,
Yep.
and it's because of some oil in turn number 8. And here comes Terry Labonte in for the stop in the Junior Johnson Budweiser Chevrolet. His is the first pit coming in, and the
It's like barely in the box.
crew goes to work on that car. Meanwhile, Rusty Wallace is pitted at almost the
Probably trying to give himself as much
opposite
clearance as
end
possible.
of
Look at how
the,
they're
pit
changing
area.
tires
Let's
in
go
this
to Dick
race,
Berggren
too.
As we see Labonte on the top.
got
and
3 tire
Wallace on the
changes?
bottom, service being made.
No wonder the pit stops
Well,
are
Bob,
so
this
quick.
pit of Terry Labonte has had been timing Dale Earnhardt just before this stop to see how much faster he got on new tires, and they were considering putting on new ones, but he's going to get a chance to do it right now. Up pit road with the 27 is Jerry Punch. Jerry?
Well, a super pit stop by Jimmy Maytor, Barry Dodson, and the crew. 13 and 8/10 seconds under yellow for tire change on the left side. They
Oh
came around
my
about 12
gosh.
seconds for the right side, so about 25 seconds for a
Big
super pit
swerve
stop. Darrell Waltrip
on
was
the
in
11.
pits, likewise Sterling Marlin. Everyone
Couldn't tell what car that was. He barely missed.
And a tough break for Ricky Rudd, who was leading.
Oh my gosh.
One more lap. Rudd could have come in under yellow, but
I think
here's
he's
the time
stuck
car being
down
worked
here.
on. One crewman inside the car, jacking the wind around, changing the wedge.
I think he was trying to polish off the inside of the windshield, if I had to
Puts
guess.
it back in gear and moves away.
A very busy
A lot of
pit
damage on that
road,
right
but
rear for
everybody
Darrell Waltrip.
moving
Surprised they were
back
able to
out
get
onto
fuel
the
in his
racetrack
car.
now.
Have
Some
fuel
are
on the
still
right
in.
side, too. It looked like there was a little
Speed
bit
pulling back out
kind
onto
of
the race
spilling out of
course
the
as
car
we
when
watch
we see
Darrell
Darrell.
Waltrip and one of the Miller cars, Bobby and Allison. There is Terry Labonte in car number 11, who may have gotten out first.
No, he did not.
Okay.
Rusty Wallace got out first. Car number 11 is trying to catch up to the field car that he came
Rusty
out
Wallace going to be the leader,
behind.
it appears.
And coming behind.
Well, first out of the pits, I don't know
Terry
who else stayed
Labonte is
out.
Dale Earnhardt. We are
I'd imagine
under
Ricky
caution
Rudd would have
because
stayed
of
out because he
oil
just
on the
pitted a
racetrack.
couple laps before
Up
the
in
caution.
turn number 8. There's
Yeah,
the pace
there he
car
is.
leading the field into
Few
corner
drivers
number 9.
probably
Our
in
Napa
between
mid-race
him
recap at the halfway
second.
point. Ricky Rudd was
Should
in
help
the
Ricky
lead
try to get out
at
ahead
22
again.
of the
He's had a
48
fast
laps
car,
and an
clean
average
air,
speed
now
of
he's got
82.001.
slower cars in between
And he
himself
had
and the
been
rest
on
of the
lap
faster
6
cars
and
in
on
the
lap
field, so
number
that should help him
23.
get away on this
We've had
next
4
restart
cautions
again.
at that time, 17 laps, 5 leaders, 8 lead changes, 43 cars started, 37 remain, and 28 of those 37 are on the lead lap. Out of the race, Jimmy Means in car 52, Morgan Shepherd in 33,
Would have thought
and
with all
Brett
the
Bodine
incidents
in car number
we would
15.
have a lot more out of the race.
And also out of the race are Ruben
Oh, that-
Garcia.
they had a second
Alan
page. They only had
Kowicki,
3
and
names on
Jeff
one page.
Bodine.
I was going to
Ruben
say.
Garcia out of the race, of course, because of that crash out of corner number 9 that caused a red flag while track crewmen made repairs to the racetrack.
Sip for Brain,
First car
6 for
behind
tuning
the
in.
pace
Michael
car
Turner,
is the
welcome to the stream
66
as well.
car of John Krebs, but the leader of the race is Rusty Wallace in car number 27. We'll be right back with more of the Budweiser 400.
Welcome back. I'm Mike Gleason. 1988 was a banner year for hard rock. Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction was one of the biggest selling debuts of all time, selling over 15 million copies. Def Leppard's Hysteria sold over 11 million units and spawned several hit singles. And Poison went to #1 with their power ballad, Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Who would come away smelling the roses in this one? Stay with us as the 1988 Budweiser 400 now continues.
Rusty Wallace led the restart on lap 52. He sacrificed the top spot briefly
Oh, they
to
must be
Ricky Rudd
simulating
while
part of the
taking a
race here.
routine pit stop, but regained the position as Rudd headed to pit row. Lake Speed hit the inside wall on lap 80 without a stoppage in the race, but Ernie Irvin did bring the caution out when his car stalled on the backstretch. But Rusty Wallace elected not
That's
to
a hard
pit,
hit.
and he continues to lead as the racers prepare
That's
to
a
go
hard
back to
backhand
green
into the
in
wall.
the 1988 Budweiser 400 here on ESPN Classic.
Well, Rusty Wallace looks for his second win here at Riverside International Raceway, and we're going to try to contact
This is the
Rusty
only
here
way
by
I could
radio
watch
to see
the
how
full
things are
race
going.
also. So there was no
Rusty,
other
this is Bob
version, so
Jenkins.
I
You got a copy
apologize
on us?
for us having to miss a little bit of it.
Score off-road World Tour. Well, we hear the public address announcer,
this is the
but we do not hear Rusty Wallace. We do have radio
This is the only
communication
full
with
race
him,
version.
but,
There was a 27-minute highlight video, but that was the only
Rusty,
other
this is Bob Jenkins at ESPN.
available
You got a copy
race
on
of
us?
this that I could find.
Rusty, you didn't make a pit stop. Everything to your suiting. Can you win this race?
If I can't only gamble on making the pit stop, we do that, we'll be in the back of the line. That won't win the race. It all depends how Rudd's running. We'll see what happens. I think I can win it. I've been pretty strong all day long. We'll see what happens.
Do your tires feel okay, Rusty?
Not as good as I like, but they're pretty good.
Best
Rusty's
of luck.
been
We'll be
complaining,
watching you.
man.
I'm sure he hated to see this,
He's
this
upset.
caution come out, Bob, because he had a big lead after
did.
Neil Bonnet had
That's
come
probably
into
why
the
he's
pits.
upset.
Even though Neil just took on fuel, at that time Rusty had a big lead, and he hated to see this caution come out, but NASCAR had no choice but to throw the caution because the car was stalled, and that car being Ernie Irvin, one of the rookie drivers.
11 more laps to go, make that 10 laps to go. This completes lap number 85. The top 10, Rusty Wallace, Ricky Rudd, Phil Parsons, Terry Labonte, Kyle Petty. 6th is Dale Earnhardt. 7th is Neil Bonnet. 8th is Benny Parsons. 9th is Sterling Marlin. And 10th position is Mark Martin. We can go a few more positions after that. 11th is Richard Petty. In 12th position is Bill Schmidt, who's leading the Winston West competitors. 13th is the 29 car of Dale Jarrett. And in 14th position is Michael Waltrip.
Those are the 14 cars in the lead lap at this point.
Field moving up through the S's now once again, anticipating a green flag possibly this time around.
Oh man, we're almost done.
As we believe the lights
wonder how many laps
are out indeed, and they'll be getting the green flag on the backstretch, and there will be just a little more than 9 laps of racing to
That's
go
it.
with Rusty Wallace.
We missed like a third of the race.
Looking for his 2nd consecutive win here.
They went to that last commercial break
under
under the caution before
this race
at lap
is
50,
Tim Richmond, who of course is
and now we have
competing
9 to
in
go.
Winston Cup this year.
It was good a moment ago on the flashback, Bob, to see
So
their
late race restart.
win. Of
Rusty
course,
Wallace in the
suffering
lead.
from cancer, resting.
Went from like having half the race left, trying to figure out the strategy to, oh, this is the finish right
Congratulations
here.
again on that win.
So we'll have to do,
A
unfortunately.
week from today, we'll be at Portland International Raceway, just up the road here, for IndyCar racing, our first IndyCar telecast of 1988. Green flag is out. We go back.
I noticed the 1987 version of this race on YouTube is only an hour and a half also, so I wonder if it's another ESPN classic.
Well, those have been the 2 strongest cars all day long.
Wow, it's
And
amazing how
we'll
quickly
see
they
which
pulled
one
away on
has
the
it
restart.
now.
Pontiac or Buick.
It did look like Ricky was a little
These guys
faster
started
than
on the
Rusty,
front row. Rudd
and
was
it
on
sounds
the
like
pole
Rusty's
with
got a little
Wallace
bit older
outside.
tires right now too.
And now Wallace has the lead, getting the left side of the car off the racetrack just slightly and kicking up a little bit of dust. And look how close Ricky Rudd is.
Oh, we got a
have
spin.
Ken
Oh,
Schrader is
look out.
looping, coming off of corner number 9. And Neil Bonnet also spins. Spins actually into the pit area, knocking down some of the pylons.
Who went into the?
Sterling
Oh
also
boy.
involved, so was
Neil
Dave
Bonnet?
Marcus. Both of those cars are still running now. Neil gets his car headed in the right direction, and everybody escapes, but the yellow flag comes out once again.
But these leaders have
they're
not
racing back to
gotten
the line.
yellow flag yet, so they're going to be racing back to
About
the
9
yellow
laps to
flag
go,
because
racing back to the
their
line.
Pit crew are telling them on the radio, hey, everything's clear down here, guys. Go on through. Go as hard as you can. So they will race back.
They'll get another
all the way
restart in
to
after
the
this. This is going to buy Rusty a little bit of time. There's dust.
behind them.
They're coming out of corner number
Not sure where
8.
that
We'll
came
have
from.
to go down the backstretch.
Oh, Ricky's.
And the yellow flag is out.
Ricky Rudd make a pass as Rusty Wallace has slowed down.
Well, now have they received the yellow back there? Or do
Whoa, Dale! Oh my gosh!
The only official yellow flag is at the
This is
start
why we
finish
don't
line.
race
They were
back
told
to the
out in
line.
driver's
Look at
meeting,
this.
So you can see everybody making passes as they come down through there. Now, none of the cars behind them have gotten the yellow flag, but apparently Dale Earnhardt did not. But they are racing back to the flag at the start-finish line.
So Wallace now is 3rd as both Earnhardt and Phil Parsons.
I mean, Dale
pass.
capitalized
Now
on
they
that
come
one.
down for the yellow.
Man, Rusty and Ricky
Earnhardt
lost
is
so
gonna be
many
the leader
spots
the
off of
race.
that.
Phil Parsons 2nd, then Rusty Wallace, Terry Labonte, and Ricky Rudd. And I'm a little bit confused because it appeared to me as if both Wallace and Rudd slowed down there on the backstretch.
Yeah, this is confusing.
Because Dale Earnhardt...
I think they were only racing to where the restart zone was, and that's why Rusty...
The shades of the Grand National race at Dover a week ago yesterday. But they were told in the drivers' meeting that even though there are caution flags around the racetrack by
they race
various officials,
to the line is what I always thought
it
it was.
is possible that part of the race course could be
This is a
under caution,
confusing finish.
and everywhere else would be green. But they were told that the official caution flag is only
Good luck
on the
reorganizing
start-finish
these
line.
guys with 8 laps left.
My opinion is that they needed
The
to
whole
race
field,
back to
nonetheless.
the start-finish line. Rusty Wallace, apparently, once he saw the yellow lights, decided not to do that.
Well, we are cautioned because of this little scramble that occurred coming out of corner number 9 as... Watch watch Ken Schrader's red number 25 car may have been bumped by
he definitely got turned from behind.
Sent Ken Schrader sideways.
And right back down into Neil Bonnet, he tapped Neil and knocked him around down on the inside of the track. And
it's like right where the wall broke earlier.
Sterling got through there, okay. He just came down pit road, and Dave
Somewhat
Marcus went down into the dirt there as well.
Off the same corner.
And Benny Parsons narrowly escaped being involved in that crash also. Pace car is out on the racetrack, and the yellow is flying once again on Riverside International Raceway. We'll be back with more from Riverside right after this. Back at Riverside under caution, and there's a little bit of confusion as to who should be leading this race. We are getting an explanation from NASCAR at the moment. We believe that Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd will be moved back to the front of the pack because the pace car had its lights flashing and was trying to get onto the racetrack back there in corner number 8 when the others, including Dale Earnhardt and Phil Parsons, shot by Rudd and Wallace. And this is how it happened.
Here as they came off of turn 8, of course, Wallace was leading the race, and you see the pace car did have the lights on, and of course they knew the caution was out, so Rusty slowed down. Rudd passed him, and Earnhardt just drove right on past all of them. He was still wide open at that point. And even though the official caution flag is at the start-finish line, you're saying because the pace car had its caution lights on, that was confusing to the drivers. That's why they slowed down, and they're going to change them, put them back up there. Now Earnhardt's not going to get that
Dale's still fighting for it. I don't blame him, though.
NASCAR has the call on it, so they are going to put Rusty Wallace back in front.
I mean, they would have stated in the drivers' meeting exactly what the rule would be. Whether they race back to the line or
what's going on out there.
Obviously, it doesn't seem like there's clear communication.
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
What's going on?
Well, NASCAR's getting all confused. They're letting cars that are behind, lap cars behind me. They let Ricky Rudd pass them. These are single file restarts. They're not allowed to do that. The pace car pulled out in front of me and Rudd to double back straight, which he wasn't supposed to do that. Now he's got everything all piled up. This could have caused me a race, and I'm going to drive my butt off. Let's see what happens.
So when you saw the pace car there in the backstretch, you got off the accelerator, right?
That's right. The pace car full turned the yellow lights on and pulled in front of us in the middle of the back straightaway. Me and Rudd both stopped, and Earnhardt took off. It's not right. NASCAR's got it messed up.
Well, apparently you and Rudd are being put back in first and second, so they may have this whole thing figured out. All right, so...
That indeed is the case that NASCAR has said that it was the fault of the pace car that came out, and it was confusing to the drivers, as Rusty said, when he pulled out there with those lights.
I'll tell you what, this has been a wacky race.
Thing for him to do.
Absolutely.
And I
kind of
commend NASCAR for the stand that they have taken. They made a mistake, and now they're rectifying it in this manner.
Exactly. Car crashing into the grandstands. Got Rick Hendrick
making this a fair,
giving up the lead and swapping out of his race car.
Pace car remains out
just to get somebody else
in
seat time.
This is the area that they would be getting the green in, so we'll go at least one more lap before we
this
get the
whole
green.
racing
and
back to the
laps are complete right now. They'll come down to complete
the caution situation with less than 10 laps to go of all times to have it happen.
Less than 5 laps to go when apparently they will.
It's weird because they've been racing back to the line every other caution before that. Never had an issue until this one.
Jarrett's car, who's having a great afternoon.
But yeah, it sounds like the pace car made a mistake. They were leaving early. That's what caused the top two to slow up.
Bill Smith, who's running in the 10th position. So Dale has had a good run here this afternoon, and Cale Yarborough, as hard as this will be. Cale sitting at home in Timminsville, South Carolina, watching his car this afternoon.
So while we are under this caution to sort things out, we're going to take another break and be right back for more of the Budweiser 400 from Riverside International Raceway.
Oh, green flag
comes out of corner number 8, and the
look out, pace car.
Is out.
They're racing for the win now.
Laps of racing to go. Who's going to win
How many
this
I missed
race?
it?
It's Rusty Wallace now. Ricky comes out of corner number 8, and the green flag is out. We've got 5 more laps of racing to go. Who's going to win this race? It's
5
Rusty
laps.
Wallace
Let's count it down from here.
Ricky Rudd running in second. The battle for third is between Terry Labonte and Phil Parsons.
Phil Parsons had a great day. He's been in the top 5 for most of the race.
As they head for turn number 9. Phil Parsons back to
I don't know if
fourth.
he was
Dale Earnhardt
a
is
really
in
good road
fifth
course racer, or
position.
if it was just
And
kind
let's
of
go to Dick
lucky.
Berwin, who is in the
He was
Richard
up where he
Childress
was.
Dale Earnhardt pit. They can't be happy with what just happened.
Dale
No,
get a
they
move.
sure are not happy with what just happened. And with Kirk Shelmerdine, who's watching the last turn 9
Oh,
with his glasses.
my
and they
gosh.
take vigorous exception to the
He
decisions
was
that have
so
just
far
been
out of
made.
the group there.
Kirk, what's your view of it?
Had not taken yellow. They were racing back around the racetrack with the yellow flag. Start finish line. Rusty and Ricky Rudd complained about the pace car moving out on the racetrack on the backstretch while they were racing.
Oh, Dale!
And they claimed that's how Dale.
Dale's in trouble, by the way, Dick.
I'm standing here watching Dale with the glasses to make sure he doesn't run off in the dirt or anything. So
Getting in Ricky's way right now,
the
too.
pace car didn't move. It stayed in the same place.
Oh my gosh, he tried to turn him. I think he almost got put into the wall. He was trying to force his way back onto the actual racing
Dale
grid.
Earnhardt is just driving
Oh,
the wheels
Earnhardt!
off that
He
car.
about got turned that time.
And
Somebody
we've
got turned
more action
further
up
back.
toward the S's.
At least one car.
Yellow flag is out in that particular section of the racetrack. I don't know whether it's going to be an overall caution. Apparently not. We don't see Harold Kender below us with the yellow, but certainly there is a lot of dust up there and up there in the S's. Meanwhile, it is Rusty Wallace leading Terry Labonte, Ricky Rudd, Dale Earnhardt, Phil Parsons, and Benny Parsons.
Terry Labonte was able to get around Ricky Rudd and has moved away from him, and he might be moving in on Rusty Wallace a little bit, Bob. He is really moving that Budweiser Chevrolet.
There are 3 laps to go. That completes lap number 92. There you
Yeah,
can
there
see
you
some
go.
damage to the left side of the Ricky
So there
Rudd
must have
car.
been 4 to go, technically. on the
Meanwhile,
restart.
Kyle Petty in car number 21, who is running in the top 10, is coming toward the pit. Well, there he is. The Wood Brothers Ford being brought into pit road by Kyle Petty.
Apparently he has a flat tire on
I
that
was
car.
gonna say,
Looks
but
like the
he
left
must
front
have.
might be flat
Tied
on the
down.
car,
He's got
so
damage.
they had
Came
no
into
choice
pit
but to
with
come
3
in
to go.
and change that. That's going to cost him a lot
I wonder
of
if he got
positions.
into
should
whoever
stay
that
in the
was
lead
that was
lap.
spinning.
We only have 14 cars in the lead lap, but Kyle had been running up in the top 5 most of the day.
Boy, that was just some great action there while we were hearing from Kirk Shelmerdine in the pit area. Dale was just trying everything he could to pass cars and get back up there toward the front.
Well, he's running right behind Ricky Rudd now, who's running in the 3rd position, so that means Earnhardt is running in the 4th position.
There's Dale down the backstretch. Rusty Wallace leads. And as they come around this time, we will have 2 more laps to go.
Rusty's got a pretty decent
There's a
sized
good
lead.
battle
Richard
between
Petty's still in the
Phil
top
Parsons
10.
and
He's had a
Benny
great
Parsons.
run.
Also involved is Richard Petty in car number 43. Here comes Wallace at the start-finish line. There are 2 more laps to go. 5 miles of racing remain as we watch this Parsons.
Kind of pulling for Phil
and
Parsons to
Benny
get a top 5. I think he's in 5th right now. Yeah, he's
This
in
has got to
5th.
be one of Benny Parsons' best performances of the year. His best finish so far
Said Benny
has
Parsons.
been a 13th at Bristol, and he's well within the top 10. As a matter of fact, he is in 6th position.
Having a very good run. You can see Rusty Wallace hit the curving on with his left front there just a moment ago. It didn't seem to slow him down much. He was about 1 3/10 seconds behind or ahead of Terry Labonte when they came about the start-finish line the last time around. So it looks like that Labonte is staying at least that close behind him.
So you think Rusty has this thing won, Ned?
Well, I don't know. I'll tell you, there's so many things that can happen on a road course in particular, but he's
Well,
going to...
somebody else is off.
Here's trouble.
That's Benny. Too bad.
Oh, what a tough...
So close to the finish.
Yeah, he was running so good, had run so good all day. We just got through talking about him. He's going to get that thing back out there and get him a finish position, though. He should stay in the lead lap, but that cost him a lot of positions.
Tough break for Benny Parsons. Meanwhile, here comes Rusty Wallace.
Start my crew. Thanks for tuning in. Kevin Beeler, welcome.
And the white flag is
A couple
being
people
shown
saying
by
they're at
Harold
this race
Kender.
in the chat.
Rusty Wallace has 1 more lap to go, and he'll have 3 victories in the last
Definitely
4
a
road
kind of a
races
nutty
in
race,
Winston
I'll tell you
Cup
that much.
competition. But there is Terry Labonte.
Does look like Terry's closed the
And
gap
he
a
is not
little
too
bit
far
from the last
behind.
lap, but he's still
Ricky
quite a
Rudd
ways
continues to
back.
run third. But
One lap.
Rusty, it seems to me, if he can hang
definitely
his
pulled
car
away from
on the
Ricky Rudd a
racetrack
little
and
bit.
keep it straight, he's going to have another victory in his pocket.
I
Rudd's
think he
pulled
will.
way
He was
ahead
1
of Dale
second
Earnhardt.
ahead of Terry Labonte when they came across the start-finish line, which meant that Labonte gained a little over a third of a second on him the last
It's
lap.
definitely crazy.
He just has one to go, and it's hard to make up a full second.
Rusty Wallace comes through corner number 8. He has the long
Rusty and Ricky dominated this race.
Before the checkered flag.
Even with all the late yellow, it's definitely good that one of those two got the win. Looks like it's going to be Rusty.
Ricky Rudd.
He's got the worst of the racetrack out of his way. However, turn number 9 can be very tricky. He has to be careful not to get in there too fast and slide high.
Lap
That's
car
his biggest
away.
problem right now. He's coming up on Bobby Hillen as he goes into that turn.
Bobby.
He moves around Hillen with no problem at all, and he slows it down going into that turn, gets it right down on the inside, as we've seen him so many times today. Looks like he's got it made, Bob.
Rusty Wallace comes out of corner number 9.
Such a long corner. They'd be really patient getting back to the gas.
He's got the race won. He crosses the line, and
Rusty Wallace is a winner.
Terry Labonte is
The inverted roof
by
number.
Ricky Rudd, Dale Earnhardt, Phil Parsons, Richard Petty, and the number 6 car of Mark Martin.
I think this is the first time we've seen Rusty Wallace win on a Throwback
Dale Jarrett's
Thursday.
going to come home in 8th place, and Sterling Marlin in the 9th position.
Sure won't be the last. Hot Wheels Vet 95, thanks for tuning
happy
in.
Rusty Wallace. Rusty, what turned this situation around with scoring? Did you talk to NASCAR? Did they do it themselves, or did your crew do it?
I think my crew did it. Barry Dotson, Jimmy, and Harold Lelly.
That's a quick
that
cut
wasn't
to
the right deal.
Rusty
There's
Wallace's
a single
victory
file
lane.
restarts here at Riverside. They let Ricky pass a couple lap cars. The caution flag come out. They let the pace car pull out in front of us in the back straight, which was wrong. But we had to stop or else hit the car. And so it was 2 problems out there. NASCAR finally got it right and got us back up front. But man, I'll tell you, I was a nervous son of a gun because I knew it wasn't right. And I've seen stuff like that happen before, and I was hoping it wouldn't keep it up.
Well, it all came out well. Do you realize what the points are right now?
I'm not even worried about it. I just wanted to win the first race for this team. And Mobile One and AC Spark Plugs and all the guys at Kodiak, they done a great job. And the points are going to fall or we're going to fall, is what I've been telling everybody.
They're changing his
But I'm
hat
glad to
victory
win.
lane like
Well,
3
you
times.
are in the lead in the points, Rusty, at this moment. What are your emotions at winning the last Riverside Road Race?
It's wonderful. You know, I won the Winston Western 500. I won this thing. I feel like an accomplished road racer. But I owe it all to my crew and just all my sponsors and everything. It's great. I really appreciate it.
And there you have it.
Can't
from
get over the
Victory
guy
Lane. Bob
changing his
Jenkins.
hat while he's
Final
getting
chapter
in.
in Winston Cup Racing, written here this afternoon by Rusty Wallace, and he is the new points leader in Winston Cup competition. He leads by 4 over Dale Earnhardt.
Tight
It
points
was
battle.
Rusty Wallace's 2nd straight victory at Riverside.
I wonder why Dale must have been
Earnhardt
so
was
upset with the
furious
finish
after
of that
the
race. I didn't
claiming
realize
that
those
NASCAR
two were the
officials
top
had
2 in the
cost him
standings at this
victory.
time.
With 8 laps remaining,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to this Throwback Thursday live stream on the channel. As always, hit the like button on your way out, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, and I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll have a NASCAR 07 live stream. That will start at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will race a Kansas Speedway race on NASCAR 07 for the Cup Series. So, 400-mile, 267-lap race, NASCAR 07 Cup Series tomorrow. Can't wait, but again, appreciate it as always. See you guys next time.